back here on Talk It Up. Today's guest, Robbie. How you doing, my brother?
Doing all right, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Let's waste no time. I want to get right into this event you have coming up. Let's talk about that first.
Okay.
You have May 7th.
May 7th, yes,
you
sir.
are opening up for Baby Bash and Brown Boy, right?
Yes, correct.
And that's going to be at...
the Amador Live.
And that's where Broken Spoke is, right?
Correct, yes.
For everyone
Broken
that's here.
Spoke, 575, Amador Patio Bar and Grill. It's 4 bars in one area, so.
Nice. Is it and who else is so are you performing right before those guys?
Yes.
And who else is performing?
It'll also be DJ Sauna. He's an artist that I've been working with a lot lately.
Yep.
Super talented. If you guys ever get the chance, check out DJ Sauna 336 online. Super dope. Super dope. Like extremely talented, extremely driven, motivated, dropping music videos all the time.
He's on one of your songs, right?
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
So
correct.
And I'll post links to all that stuff too.
Okay, cool.
Does he? So who else? Before we leave anyone out,
it'll actually just be myself, DJ Sauna, and Philip Israel. Philip Israel is actually someone who works with DJ Sauna.
Okay.
Is under DJ Sauna, and dude is that man. Very unique style. Very his music reminds me a lot, like his voice reminds me a lot like Shaft. You know how like Shaft has that real deep voice,
yeah.
But he can sing with really deep. It's amazing.
Oh, he sings and raps.
Yeah, he sings and raps.
Nice, dude.
It's a cool little mixture of what he does. Very.
How do
unique.
you even get involved with those guys, man? I think it's pretty cool that you're and I've known you for a long time, right?
Yeah.
I was actually thinking before you got here, I'm like, how did I originally meet you? Because I know you we did fighting at one point, like through music, through friends. And I'm like, I had no idea. I was trying to figure out how I initially met you. And the oldest memory I could think of was training with you at Martinez Inc.
Yeah, it was.
Do you think that was how we first met?
It was actually a little bit before that. We used to party a lot. With
used to. No, I'm just kidding. Literally used to. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, no, there was that.
With Lloyd, Hector, and all them. We used to park outside of Sonic, Telshore, Sonic on El Paseo.
That was a thing to do, man.
Yeah, back
especially
in the day.
If you had either a cool car, or a friend with a cool car.
Yeah, exactly.
Go find out where all the parties are.
Yes, sir.
No, so that, anyways, what I was asking you was, how do you meet these guys? How did you get involved with these guys?
Well, I'm kind of somebody who, I give not necessarily everyone a chance, but if somebody sends me the link to their music, I'll actually listen to it. I'm not someone who will kind of pass it up or like, oh, I'm not going to listen to this. Like, I don't know who this person is. Like, I genuinely will take the time to listen to whatever it is that they send to me, only because, you never know when like there will actually be a song that people may like, and I'm not a hater of any sort. I'm not jealous of anybody. Like, if I could put somebody's name out there, I'll put their name out there.
Yeah.
And DJ Sauna, I would say about 5-6 years ago, man, he was putting out music, and to me, like, I was just kind of like, wow, like this guy is super industry music, but he kind of sticks to his own style. He, how Fetty Wap was huge at one point. He had his own unique style. Rich Homie Quan, all them, like, but DJ Sauna was actually doing this sound prior to these guys. So it was kind of unique. Like, like it was somebody that like, I feel like his sound got overshadowed by these real big artists. And he was just somebody that I just feel like, hey, dude.
Where's he from?
He's actually from North Carolina, but he lives here.
Okay.
He lives here in Las Cruces. But like I said, dude, he's just super talented and super driven. He's one of those people that will put the money into whatever he needs to get done. He does the highest quality of everything. It's actually amazing. He's always looking for ways to upgrade. He's always looking for ways to make himself sound better, make his music better and everything. And to me, if you're willing to do that, hey, like that's something that I do. If that's something that I've always been real big on is always improving yourself. And this guy just constantly finding ways to make himself better.
So he sends you something randomly and you hear it? Like what did he send you, or how did that work?
Well, so obviously, aside from doing music, I'm a DJ.
Yep.
Well, so what a lot of people will do is they'll send me their music. They're like, hey, can you throw this in one night? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Sure. Mm-hmm. And DJ Sauna, he had a song originally. The very first song that I ever played of his is called Bust It. And like I said, this song was 6 years ago. But if you hear it, like, it's like, wow, like you wouldn't imagine that.
So he was ahead of his time. He was saying that he was doing stuff 6 years ago that a lot of these guys are doing now.
Yes. Best way I could put it.
Yeah.
Way ahead of his time. And it's just a talent that was unrecognized at the time.
Nice. So he sent it and said, hey, will you play this? Like, is that how he said?
Yeah. So he sent me music and was like, hey, like, can you play this in one of your sets? Heard the song. Oh yeah, definitely. I could throw that in there. And one day I had been listening to his newer music, and upon listening to his newer music, I was like, man, like I really want to get on a song with this guy.
Yeah.
I really want to do music with this guy. Like, you know, like this guy has the same drive that I've always had, and he's willing to work. So, one day I sent him a beat, and he was like, yeah, I could do something with this. Came back in like 3 days, and I was like, oh my gosh, dude,
It's
like
pretty good.
it was amazing.
Oh, Jesus.
It was absolutely like amazing what he did with it. And what I like is, you know, when I approach somebody with a song or with the track that I want them on of mine, I really want them to outshine me. You know, like, of course, like, yeah, you know, like I'm gonna do my best in my part,
Yeah.
but I want them to outshine me. And he clearly does. Like, and his voice is just so unique. You know, he's also a lyricist too. So he can actually like sing, but also like make it like bars.
That's kind of the wave now, right?
Yeah.
If you can sing and rap, I mean, there are like obviously like Eminem, he's not a singer.
Mhm.
So there, I mean, he's old school too, right? So there are some artists that could only rap, but this new wave, man, if you can sing and rap, you're golden. Like
Exactly.
the Drakes, the Childish Gambino does it, Russ. Like, you
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean? A lot of these guys.
Shout out Russ.
Yeah, the dude's dope, man.
Amazing.
I had no idea. Someone turned me on to that guy, and I was like, wow, this guy kills it. And
Amazing.
he's not even like a mainstream dude, right? He's not on a major label.
No.
But that's what I'm talking about. The guy's so marketable, and with the internet, with SoundCloud, with YouTube, with all this stuff, you don't need to go anywhere. You can do this from your house.
Yeah.
But if you can sing and rap, you can kind of make it. So that's cool that like, this guy does both, man. And you do a little bit of both too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's super cool, man. And I've done music in the past, man, but it's not like with me, it's always been fun.
Mhm.
And I love it, right? It's just not, it's never been, what's the best way to say this? It's been an outlet, like
Yeah.
almost like growing up, like I was the quiet kid, which I know is probably surprising.
Yeah. No, it's actually extremely surprising.
Yeah. No, I was super quiet and I didn't want to talk that much. And doing music was a way I'm like, or when I would talk a lot, I would get interrupted.
Mhm.
Whether it was by adults, right? When I was a younger kid, I'm like, I just felt unheard.
Yeah.
And when I would do music, I'm like, this is my one moment to say and do whatever I want. And people have to listen.
Exactly.
Or they turn it off, which I'm cool with. But you can't interrupt the song. And so I'm like, all right, this is a good way to get a full story out.
Mhm.
So it was fun. And I remember feeling at the beginning of the song and the feeling when the song was done wasn't the same for me. And so that's how I knew that I wasn't maybe on the level as people that took it more seriously, me or and I liked it, right? I don't want to ever say that I didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
But I remember the process was fun. The
Yeah.
writing was fun. The recording was fun. And then when it was done, I'm like, something's missing. And so I got more in the conversationalist stuff, which is what led me to doing this.
Yeah.
But I still love music. I'll probably put more of it out, but it'll always be that. It will be like a way for me to say something without getting interrupted, man.
Yeah.
What do you think made you first get into music, man?
Well, what made me first get into music is kind of like a similar thing. You know, I was never really the quiet one, to be honest. Well,
You were never quiet?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, I was quiet, but as I
Yeah.
got older, you know, I learned that music kind of helped me open up myself.
Mhm.
You know, and I would say, do you know what was the question again?
You were talking about why you like music and why you first got into it. You
Oh,
said when
why-
you were younger, you
yeah.
weren't that quiet.
Yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't, you know, the most talkative person.
Yeah.
Grew up, and then like I just realized that music was not only an outlet, because you know everybody says music is an outlet, like, you know, because it is.
It's kind of a given,
It
right?
is.
If it's not, then you're
Yeah,
something's
it's
wrong.
absolutely an outlet.
Yeah.
But it's just something also as well, you know, that the creative side of it, like it's like a challenge on everything, you know, like you're trying to make your song sound a certain way. You're trying to make, you know, especially like when you're doing production, you're like, you know, it's like you want this beat to sound this way,
Mhm.
and then you want your vocals to sound this way, and everything. Like to me, it's like a super challenge. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's like the most entertaining part of it, is the challenge of making music.
See, you do something interesting because not every artist also does their own production, right?
Correct.
Do you do beats as well?
I do, yes.
So see that you're doing the whole thing. And as someone who tried to do the whole thing, I understand how difficult that is. And people don't give enough credit to the producer. And people that aren't in the music industry don't really know what a producer is, right? They think they're like Dre and Eminem. That's
Yeah.
I mean, there's an engineer, right? That's the person who clicks the buttons.
Yep.
The producer is someone that puts some sort of creative input on it.
Mhm.
So if you go to a studio and they just record you, that's the engineer. They're not you're your own producer,
Yeah.
right? And tell me if I'm wrong. This is how I've always interpreted it. But you're doing all those. You're beat making, you're engineer, you're producing, you're the artist, you're mixing, you're mastering, which is also its own thing, right?
Correct, yes.
And so you're doing all of that. And
Yeah.
so that's super interesting. So maybe tell me a little bit about that. What do you ever get lost in the process? Do you have to compartmentalize like, hey, right now I'm just the artist. All right, now I go into producer mode, or do you kind of do it all at once?
That's where I run into issues is I want to do everything at once.
Yeah.
So, so like so on the songs that I do produce, because, obviously I do reach out to other producers at times. But on the songs that I do produce, like, I'm making the production or the instrumental, and then I go to like, well, how would I write to this? And then I'll write something. Then I'll go, something's missing. Like, yeah, I always start with the beat first and then go to the writing. But it's one of those things where I just kind of like go back and forth from time to time. And then there are times where you just get like writer's block and producer's block, and you can't, like you just kind of like stuck. Like, okay, this sounds good, but I can't make them go together.
So what do you do when that happens?
Honestly, sometimes I'll take a shot. And
that's always a good, you have to change something, right?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, because I've been through a similar place where it's like, all right, this just isn't working. And you're right. When you get writer's block is when you're just like, you can't really make a good choice when you have writer's block, because maybe you're making the most creative, best decision ever, but you've been doing that for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you question every little change you're thinking of doing, to the point where it's like you're never really going to like it.
Exactly.
So it is good to kind of pull away for a bit, go back, or change something, right? Or get another pair of eyes, or someone, hey, what do you think of this? Get some input, spit it to them, or if you're producing, let them listen to it. That helps, right?
And do with the writer's block. That's one of the things that I appreciate about DJ Sauna and Philip Israel. Honestly, when it came to our song "Do It Again," we had our first song, "What's the Move for the Night." That one done instantly. "Do It Again," I had a verse written out, and I rewrote it, reset it, reworded it, took out words, put in words, and just changed how I would deliver it, and then changed how I delivered it again. And then, so DJ Sauna was like bugging me for like 3 weeks. Hey man, are you gonna get this? Are we gonna do this?
Like,
or
what's happening here?
What's going on here? Like Kirko sent over his hook. I have my verse done. Are you done?
So what was the order? Because Kirko Bangz is also on the song.
Yeah.
So did you guys send it to him first? Did he write the hook and you guys wrote the verses?
Yeah. So what ended up happening is like I said, I'll reach out to other producers at times. My boy Chef Premier, he does a lot of production. He had helped out with the beat. And then we one day. I have a history with Kirko. Like, I've known him for a few years, and one day I just reached out to him on Instagram, and I was like, hey man, I was like, can we get a track with you?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, are you ready? Like, because when you hit up somebody, like their thing is like,
I bet a million people hit him up. Let's get it on a track.
Yeah, exactly. And so what ends up happening is, is instantly his question basically is, are you ready? Is, do you have the money? Because obviously they want to make sure that you're serious about it.
I was misinterpreting that. So that, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his thing was like, are you ready? Like, so I was like, yeah, like, we'll send you over half. And, we sent him over the beat. And I would say, I don't know, dude, it was like 11 a.m. when I sent him over the beat. So noon Houston time.
Is it Houston?
Yeah, he had the hook done by 11:25.
I'm going to turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
Or if you want to, put it a little bit closer. Yep. And then we'll keep going. So anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah, so at around, I sent to him at 11 o'clock, and he had sent back the hook, like 25 stems and everything, like in 25 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, he had that track entirely done, like the hook entirely done. And then I was like, hey, do you know what? Can you get that bridge too? Because I had asked him for a bridge. And he was like, yeah. And so I sent over the track again. And then I would say about 10 minutes later, he sent me over the bridge. We had this, sent it to him at 11 o'clock, and by like 11:35 it was entirely done.
So he was on it.
He was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like he had been sitting in his studio going like, all right, like, what next? What next?
I feel like those guys like that just kind of ready to work though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of on. He's just send me the stuff. When you do it, it's a business, right? Yeah. He is a business, so exactly. you kind of have to be ready for when things like that pop up, and then vice versa. When you said that, he said, "Are you ready?" I thought I interpreted that as like a bunch of people hit him up, but then thinking that he'll probably say no, and then if he says yes, they're like, "Oh, well, let me figure it out, and I'll get back to you."
And you know what? And
if
that's,
I wasted. I thought it was,
That is another part of it too.
Okay.
Like I will say that, like that is not an incorrect like thought, because it really does happen. You know, like people will contact him or contact any artist in general and say, hey, you know, how much for a verse? And, you know, and then they'll give you back a price. And it's like, okay, you know, send me over the instrumental. Oh, okay.
What do you like?
Like exactly.
Like you don't have a plan for this yet?
Yeah. And that's what they run into a lot. Cause I know that any artist that I've ever approached with any type of music or any type of anything really, like they'll ask me, send over the instrumental so I could hear it. Because obviously if it's going to be something easy and it's something that maybe they already have a hook written, you know, and it's something that they already have, like, and they just never recorded it. And then like, you know, they hear and they're like, oh, well, we could do this, you know, $1,000, $500.
I know dudes that keep hooks on deck, but it's kind of weird because, like you said, it's always been beat first and then right to it.
Yeah.
But I do know some people that just have verses and hooks, just waiting for a moment to use them.
Yeah.
Like so, when you play something like, oh, I have a verse. I have a few friends that are like that, where I bring them over to the studio, I'll play something, and I'm like, I know I got one for that.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's kind of weird. I've never done that, but I always find it super impressive when someone just kind of has that on deck.
Oh yeah, dude. And it happens more often than you think.
Yeah.
And that's only because, you know, like we were talking about earlier prior to this, you know, that sometimes you just sit there and you just write something.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you're just looking at something in the room, something comes to mind, you write it down, you put it in your phone, and then that happens enough times in a month or whatever, in a week, and then all of a sudden you have a full verse to absolutely nothing.
Yeah. How you're absolutely right, man. And have you seen? There's a documentary on Netflix. It's an old one. It may not even be on Netflix anymore, but it's actually like a Marshall Mathers documentary.
You know, I think I have seen it.
It's low budget. It doesn't seem like a main, like whoever produced they that's a huge artist. They should have got that one right.
Yeah.
But it was super interesting. He used to work at this restaurant, and he was a cook, and he wanted to be like a server, and they wouldn't let him serve because he kept like wrapping people's orders. Yeah. And like, here's your strawberries with your milk. Like he was just going off. And they're like, Marshall, you can't do that. So they sent him to the back. And he says that he would get all the napkins and just write like all over them, like his stuff. So it's cool to hear like people's process, like how, because some people, when you come up with it, you got to throw it down or it's gone.
Exactly.
Right. And some people, I know a guy that writes, he doesn't write at all. Kind of like Wayne used to do. I'm assuming still does. He doesn't write at all. He just like, and I did music with, TP.
Yeah.
Total Profit. I've done a bunch of songs with him, but I've been in the studio and I just watch him, and he's like, man, I don't use paper. When I first met him, I'm like, yeah, right. Like that's why he's gonna grab some paper. So he never did. Yeah. He stood there, and I watched him just doing this, and I remember thinking, like, what is he like? When is he gonna start writing? Like I didn't know that. I'm like, we're all taking this pretty serious. This dude's just walking around like with a Patron or a Hennessy bottle, whatever it was,
just waiting for somebody to press the record button.
Yeah, just kind of talking to himself, and I'm like, and then it comes time to like, hey, let's see what you guys got, help each other out, kind of thing. And one guy does his, I do mine, and he just went off on a whole verse. I'm like, oh, he was writing. Yeah. And then you'll even hear him. I knew he didn't have it on deck because he was stuck in what he was writing. And then we'd be like, what if you do this? He's like, I like that. And he would just go back to it. And then later on we do the song, he would have that part in there.
Yeah.
And so and he did it every single time. I never saw that guy use paper.
That's wild.
And I thought it's almost like the server that doesn't take your order.
Yeah.
I'm like, see, sometimes people do that and they fuck up though. And I'm I'd rather you write it down.
Yeah. I'd rather you take my order, like, cause you forget the mashed potatoes. My girl's going to be mad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to take that heat. I don't think it's that impressive when servers do it. When musicians do it, that's pretty cool. But when a server does it, either you mess up and I'm like, see, you should have wrote it down, or you get it right and I forget, like I'm eating. I don't think like, oh, how cool is that? I've never tipped extra because they remember my order.
Exactly.
But that's just them. Or just me observing them. I thought, do you want to play some of the video?
Yeah, we can, sure.
So I'm going to pull it up, but while I'm pulling it up, I have a question for you because you mentioned that Kirko Bangz is in Houston.
Yeah.
And he's in the music video.
Yeah.
So how do you guys pull something like that off?
We flew to Houston. We went out to Houston and we took our videographer, Don Babo, out there and we recorded it. We found a film studio and everything. DJ Sauna and Philip Israel, they had models ready. I had gotten the vehicles and everything, went and picked them up, and it was actually really fun. Kirko was only supposed to be there, and like I said, me and Kirko do have a history with each other. So he was only supposed to be there for about an hour and a half. He ended up staying there for about 4 or 5 hours.
So even when it wasn't his part, he
was hanging out, chilling.
So you guys recorded the whole thing in Houston?
Yeah, in Houston.
You guys did that specifically to have him in the video.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome, dude. Because I was wondering that. I didn't know that he did his verse I'm assuming you emailed it to each other or something, right?
Yeah.
And got it back. Because I know that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But when you were telling me, I'm like, I think I remembered him in the video.
Yeah, he's in the video.
Let's watch a little bit of this. And I will tell you a story after we're done watching a little bit of this. And I'll add it to the video afterwards. Okay. That's all Houston, right?
That's all in Houston.
Who are these girls? Are they just like...
They were just models that DJ Sauna had found. And actually, they were really cool. They were really, really cool. Turns out one of them actually does music. Like
one of the girls?
Yeah, one of the girls.
I feel like that must be pretty common. Dude.
Yeah. And she's actually pretty good, too.
This is your boy you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
DJ Sauna?
That's Kirko right there, and then DJ
Kirko.
Sauna. Yeah, Kirko, yeah, Kirko's on the hook, and then DJ Sauna will come up right now.
He does have that like that modern vibe to him.
Yeah.
So is this recorded like is it like a garage studio? Or like everything's all white in the background. Where are you guys?
So
even
it
at?
was actually I can't remember the name of the place, but it was actually like a warehouse.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it was like in a warehouse, and like when you walk into the room, like we fit 2 cars in there. We had a whole setup, and on the behind the scenes, I went live, and it looks like so like it's crazy how it looks right now because I just remember like
the way it was.
Yeah, Kirko's girlfriend was chilling over there, and then like everyone was just kind of drinking.
Is she in the video?
No, she's not in the video.
She's just like
watching.
in the background.
Yeah, just chilling. Yeah.
What a supportive girl.
Yeah. And then and it's crazy because everybody thinks right away they're like, oh, Kirko was drinking lean. No, actually he was drinking tequila.
Was he? Is that his go-to drink?
Yeah, I guess so. Like he had got a bottle of tequila because we already had Hennessy, and he brought in a bottle of tequila and we all drank, and then I had to catch a flight at like 5 a.m.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than a tequila hangover. Were you hungover?
Oh, I was more tired.
I got you.
Yeah.
How much do you know this person? Because it's weird to see it. Cause it's like this girl's like kind of on you.
Yeah.
Did you, like guys talk before, or is that like your?
So I had met her at the video shoot, and the cool thing about her is that is that she was nervous, and she did ask permission. Like she she was super cool.
Yeah.
And she did ask permission. Like, hey, is it cool? Like if I touch your shoulder, is it cool? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it's like, and I think it's more because like she wanted to be professional about it, and we're all professional about it too. Like we're all just talking, chilling, and then we get.
It's also setting the standard, I'm sure. Like if she's being that way with you guys, then you guys will probably reciprocate and be just as respectful back, right?
And I know like one of the things that they did say after we were done recording everything, after the 5 hours that we were there, they were like, hey, they're like, wow, these guys are really cool. Like these guys are really down. And I guess like they're used to people like being like dogs about it, you know what I mean? Or being like assholes about it. Where us, like we were super cool. We're like, hey, like, yeah, like you guys want a chair? Like, you guys want a shot? And I just remember we had recorded my scene in the car, I would say like 5-6 times. And probably about 10 times. Yeah. And the first couple ones, like, she was nervous. She's like, hey, can I get a shot? She's like, I just feel like I'm not myself. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Go ahead. Like, do whatever. She's like,
she's asking you everything, like to make sure you're cool with it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. It was really cool. And like I said, then after we finished, they were like, wow, like these dudes are like really nice. Like, yeah, because we're not trying to
You're not
sleep
tainted
with you,
by that big city life either, though. I'm sure I'm convinced that that's part of it. Like we forget we live in like a small place.
Oh yeah.
And even Albuquerque is small compared to all these cities, right? There's a reason we don't have pro sports teams. But when you meet people from these bigger cities, they just have a different etiquette. Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, you ever talk to someone from New York? They're rough as hell, man.
Oh yeah.
And it's like they're not being rude at all. But to someone from here, you might be like, that guy's kind of rough around the edges. But it just reminds me of like the you're a little bit more humble from here. So these people are probably used to working with Houston people or other people. And that's the industry, I bet, where it's like, well, I am getting paid or I am working, I'm on the job, so I got to put up with this stuff. Mm-hmm. So to them, they must have been like,
and then that's how we felt, and that's how we felt too. We're like, wow, like we wonder why they were so concerned about us being like dickheads. You know what I mean? Because even like in the changing room stuff, like when they went to the changing room,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like they kind of seemed worried, and I went and like closed the door. You know what I mean? Like I was like, hey, like, you know, like you can close the door, dude. Like we're not trying to like.
I feel like this isn't funny, man, but I feel like that could be like a skit.
Yeah.
Like a funny skit where like the dudes are just being super inappropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And like
and the girls are like, what the fuck, man?
and it was just funny because like, you know, like they were getting ready and stuff like that. And then like, you know, like they were just nervous, and I was just like, close the door, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're not like, I'm not trying to see that, like, you know, we're not trying to be disrespectful. We're not trying to approach you in an inappropriate manner. Like we're really here to film this music video. You know, like we're really here to like get this done because we have a goal for ourselves in regards to like our music, and we're not trying to mess that up.
Yeah.
You know, and then plus, you know, like we're all in relationships. DJ Sauna's relationship, I'm in a relationship, you know, like there's no reason for us to act out of line or anything like that, especially like to just because a girl is there and her job is to be seductive, and you know.
Yeah, it's good that you have boundaries. It also probably gives you guys a good reputation if you ever wanted to go back.
Yeah.
If you guys ever wanted to like have them do another job for you guys or shoot another video there, they're like, oh, those guys, bring them on back.
Oh yeah, and they you know, and they followed us on social media. Like we followed each other like on Instagram.
Yeah.
When the video came out, they all shared the video. They all promoted it for us. Like, and it was cool because we didn't ask them to do that. They just happened to see it, and they were like, oh shoot, like, you know, like. And there was 3 models in it, and they all, like I said, they all like, you know, shared it multiple times. They all promoted it for us.
It came out really good.
Yeah.
It's about as professional as it gets, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
like Don Babo, he has a very, very creative mind. He has a very...
Is he the one who filmed everything?
Yeah. He, and it's crazy because, you know, we had gotten to, we were supposed to have the building from, I believe it was like from like 6 to like 10.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude didn't finish setting up everything till like 9 o'clock. And that's because he had so much that he was working with.
He had a vision.
And he had a vision. And he's somebody that like, I'm going to get this right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he was still setting up when Kirko showed up, you know, but like I said, but it was cool because everybody just kind of like, you know, the studio helped us out. You know, they let us hang out there. The girls had no problem being there. Kirko had no problem being there. He was getting drunk, you know what I mean? Like drinking with us. And it was just a really good vibe. And I feel like that's why like the best part about it is that like, it was a good vibe, so everybody was okay being there.
That's good, man. I'm glad it came out really well. It's always good when the memories are good. You have small hiccups, I bet, like along the way, but as long as nothing major happens, man, and that must be a cool experience, man, to look back and be like, yeah, I get to do stuff like that.
It was very cool, and we are working on more. DJ Sauna does have another song with Kirko, and that song is amazing, dude.
So, what are you guys going to be performing?
So
can you say
DJ Sauna? He's going to be performing all of his newer songs. Of course, we're going to be doing What's the Move for the Night and then Do It Again. We are going to be coming out with a couple of new songs. I'm sending over the beats to him here probably today. And then I'm going to be doing a couple of new songs that I have. And of course, I'm going to be doing my edit of Who Booty. That's like the song that helped me blow. And then Boom was the other one that helped me that they had played all over the radio. And, you know, and I'm really excited to perform. Yeah. I haven't performed in such a long time, and even before the pandemic, because I had been so focused on DJing and so focused on making sure that I make money, you know, to support my kids and everything. I didn't really put my efforts into music the way I normally would. Mm-hmm. So with me being able to perform again, I'm actually like super stoked, super excited to.
When's the last time you performed?
Oh man,
not DJing performed.
When I performed with, I believe it was with The Game. I believe it was in 2017. Yeah, that was the last time.
Where did you guys perform?
In Oregon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a shooting.
There was a shooting?
Yeah, right before the game went on.
Oh, tell me about it.
And we knew too. So I had taken Drew with me, Drew Christopher. He's a rapper. Like I said, I want everybody to get their exposure. Drew's one of those artists that he's super good, dude. He's super good.
Who's
Drew? Drew Christopher. He spells his name DRWW.
That's his name? Rap name?
Yeah. Drew Christopher. Super talented dude, bro. And I was just like, you know what? Hey, like I have this show in Oregon with The Game. Let's go. And he was like, okay, yeah, for sure. You know? So we go, we're there, we do our performance. And one of the things that I also like doing, you know, I've already had my share of time is the way that I look at it, like in the spotlight. So what I always do is like, I'll go and I'll do, you know, 1 or 2 songs, then I'll bring them on stage and let them like basically rock their own set.
Yeah.
And then I'll perform one last song, you know what I mean? And so like I kind of let them do whatever it is that they want to do. You know, so if I have a 20-minute set, I really spend like 7 minutes on my own music.
You're
and
just
then
starting and finishing
yeah,
it. And
starting, finish it, and letting them have
middle.
yeah. And so and what ended up happening is Drew got like a lot of recognition that show. Like we walked off stage and we went in front of the crowd and everything, like kind of like, you know, roaming around and stuff. And everybody's like, whoa, you're fucking dope. You're fucking dope. And it was, and it felt good because Drew's so talented, you know, like he really is a talented guy. And that's one thing that I always want is like when I recognize, especially when they're like a friend of mine, you know what I mean? Drew was a friend of mine even before music. So like, I always want to make sure that, you know, that is, if you're talented, like I'm going to put you out there. I'm going to do my best to put you out there.
Yeah.
And that's only because, you know, like I want other people to succeed. Like I don't get any benefit from people not succeeding.
Where do you think that comes from? Was someone that way to you and now you're paying it back? Or do you
know
think
what?
you've always been that way?
I will say this, man, a lot of, when I was growing up, it was a lot of me and my family type thing. But I will say that like my parents have always been super supportive of everything, you know, like they've always been real big on, you know, just like, that's what you want to do it, you know, and they'll support it 100%. Like, and, you know, and they've never brought down any idea that I've ever had. They've never been like, oh, a DJ, you know, oh, rapper, oh, singer. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's always been very positive, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that played a huge part in it, was that I've always had someone supporting me, I guess you can say. And so that's what's made me so supportive of everyone else, you know, and I've watched my dad. And the funny part is, man, people always say, I don't want to work at McDonald's the rest of my life, you know, like, and I look at my dad, bro, because he's somebody that's worked at McDonald's his entire life, but he makes, you know, 6 figures kind of chilling, you know?
Yeah.
Like he works 20, 25 hours a week working at McDonald's, and he makes, you know, 6 figures. Like he's like an area supervisor.
I was about to ask, how does he pull that one off?
Yeah, well,
so how many years total?
He's been there a while, man. He's been there, but he became a supervisor probably like 15 years ago, man.
Do you know what would be cool? That's awesome to hear. Find out what his starting pay was. Do you know? Because minimum wage probably, and it must have been way less.
Oh yeah, it was back in the day. He was a cook back in the day in Silver City.
So he must have been making like $5 an hour, maybe.
If that, bro.
If that.
Yeah. Like back in like 1980 type stuff.
Bro, that is a story right there.
Yeah, dude.
Like from that to where the person's at, and that should be like the whole title of whatever it is, a book or
yeah, dude.
Tell them come on here, I'll interview him.
And it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Like I said, you know, you hear people like, it's always like, oh, you don't want to work at McDonald's her life. And I just remember a substitute told me that in 7th grade. She's all, you're gonna grow up working at McDonald's, because I don't know what I'd done to make her mad. I think because like I said, I wasn't really like a troublemaker, you know. I don't know what I'd done to make her mad, but she was like, you're going to grow up to work at McDonald's one day. And I said, that's fine. My dad makes 3 times more money than you do anyways, working at McDonald's.
I think that's our teachers in our generation were kind of like
cold.
Yeah,
especially
you couldn't say that anymore.
Yeah, especially substitutes.
So that's not weird to hear. So that whenever you're like, I don't know what I did wrong.
Yeah.
I had teachers tell me horrible stuff. I've heard stories of people, and so I totally believe it.
Yeah.
Teachers just said, and then the whole, you don't want to work at McDonald's your whole life. They need to change that, because it's like, we live in this world, and I'm in college now, but I'm 31 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I didn't even go to college till like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And there's always this huge thing where it's like, if you don't go to college, you can't be successful kind of thing. And it's like, look, college is good. I'm not telling anyone not to go to college, but it's cool to hear stories like yours, because there's other things you can do. Yeah. There's trade work too. There's business school. If you wanted to do like 6 months to a year to a year and a half, 2 years even, get an associates or something, there's options. But it's like the whole, like, you don't work at McDonald's your whole life. They got to change that, which is why that story is cool, because why not? What you don't want to do is be in the same job your whole life, or the same position. But if you're moving up and you're progressing, then isn't that the American dream, to move forward in life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell people too. You know, like you said it perfect. You know, everyone's like, oh, well, you don't want to work at McDonald's your whole life. No, it's like, no, you don't want to be a cook your whole life.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to be a cashier your whole life. You don't want to wash dishes your whole life. You want to progress. Like, if you're not progressing, then what are you doing?
Yeah, you're settling for whatever job it is. And it's the same thing for people that aren't cooks. You know, people get really good paying jobs and never apply for promotions.
Exactly.
For like 20, 30 years. It's just on the same level job.
Yeah.
And that's not good either. Like, you know what I mean? And your dad's proved that. And I work in a job where I feel the same way. Like, I literally, my first job ever was a summer job when I was 16 years old. I mean, it was 15 because I was in high school for the first time.
Yeah.
And my foster family is Patrick Nieto's parents.
Oh, shoot.
Marty and Priscilla. I lived with them for like 3 years. His parents are foster parents.
Oh, yeah.
So they were my foster parent, and they didn't want to play for our school clothes anymore. And they were like, well, they wanted to, but they were like, when I first moved with them, my taste was like white tee. It was super cheap.
Yeah.
And then Patrick had a way more taste in fashionable stuff. So naturally, I'm like, hey, I want to buy. Remember a Vocal Nelly shirt? There's a Vocal shirt. And it was like $60 for one T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I really wanted it. And they're like, all right, well, you're gonna get a job this summer. So they had me work at the Mesquite Water Company.
Yeah.
And they kept all my paychecks because his dad was the president of the water company. So and then at the end of the summer, whatever I had, that was my school clothes money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even argue. I'm like, fair enough. I went and painted water tanks. I went and pulled weeds, man. And at the end of it, I had just enough for the Vocal shirt. I think I bought like a Mike Bibby jersey.
Yeah.
Like I just bought like 3 or 4 things, and I was happy, man.
You're content.
And it was like, and that was how I started. And I think I got paid like $5 an hour or something.
Yeah.
And then I went and I did cook jobs. I worked at Pizza Hut, and then I moved up and I worked at a call center, which looking back isn't the greatest job, but it was an upgrade from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
And then from there you move up again. And then like, I'm doing way better in life now, but I can't be in one place very long. I can be the same company, but I got to move up, man, or at least have the opportunity or a goal or something.
Exactly. And that's what I've always told people too. You always want to progress. Like you always want progression in your life. You don't want to just stay in the same place,
Yeah.
And, some people want to progress later than others, which is fine, but always have some sort of ambition or always have some sort of goal for yourself to progress.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to work at a call center, for instance, just say like, hey, you're getting your foot in the door for this business, whatever business it is, whether like say, for instance, Converges was AT&T, you know, what if like, you're working at Converges where everybody's like, oh, well, I don't want to be a supervisor. I don't want to be a TL. Okay, cool. We'll learn about AT&T.
Yeah.
Learn about what it is that they do there. What if you can go and work for their accounting
AT&T
department?
store.
Yeah. Or you can go like, work for IT for AT&T, or you can do troubleshooting for AT&T.
Travel.
Like,
AT&T's everywhere, right?
Exactly.
So I like where your head's at. People don't always think that when they work the job, but you just never know what opportunities you're going to have.
Exactly.
And you got to remember that when you meet people too. I think people forget that every person you meet is a potential opportunity. And I'm not saying you have to use the people you meet, but what if you meet someone that is a connect to someone else who, whatever, whether it's professionally, if you're single, what if you meet the love of your life through a person you met?
Exactly.
I mean, like you approach everything as like an opportunity. Yeah. So when I meet people, that's how I feel. I don't like, hey, like I'm like, hey, I'm Will. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Hey, where are you from? I get into it.
Oh yeah.
Because I never know who I'm going to meet, man.
Yeah. Like you right away, you want to establish that, that friendly connection, but also as well, like, you're networking, you're putting yourself out there, and you never know, like you can, it's something that DJ Black taught me, like whenever you go out, always dress like you're going to meet somebody who can change your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't mean like, dress in a suit and tie, but he means like, make yourself look good and always make sure to present yourself. Always make sure to show people like,
smile, man.
My name's Robbie. This is what I do, blah, 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 or my name's Robert E. Duarte. This is what I do. Make sure to put yourself out there for this person because, say for instance, I'm meeting somebody and I'm like, oh yeah, I do music. Oh shoot, well I'm an A&R at so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like really like, and that's how things happen. That's how I got booked on a lot of shows back when I was younger. I happened to be on a show, introduced myself to someone I did not know was a promoter. Turns out this guy throws concerts all over the country. And of course, you get skeptical because like, really, like you throw concerts all over the country.
Yeah.
Sounds
but like something a dude at a bar would say to some random person.
But then I find him on social media and it turns out this guy throws concerts all over the country. He's a promoter. He books concerts everywhere. He does all this stuff. And, that's how I was getting to these places because I had developed, a friendship with him.
Yeah.
And he would go like, hey, you want to come out here? Hey, you want to do this? Hey, you want to do that? Just get out here. And then eventually it got to a pay. Hey, they want to offer you $1,000. Hey, they want to do this. Like, it's like, all right, cool. Like, I'll go. And, it's just a matter of, and a lot of people, especially these days, a lot of people are like so hesitant or so stuck up or so rude when they meet new people. You know what I mean? And
especially, and I hate to say it, but especially in this town.
Yeah.
And I never really recognized it until I went other places and I saw, and not every place is nice. So I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But there's some places where like the hospitality is so good that I'm like, God, we don't get this at home at all.
Oh yeah.
And even within New Mexico, I think we went to Ruidoso during when COVID first hit.
Yeah.
Me and my girl, like, let's just go get a cabin, get away from all this and just kind of relax.
Yeah.
in the middle of a pandemic. These are the nicest, most inviting. Every restaurant we went to, like, hi, welcome. Sorry about the mask, but just so you know, we have to. But what do you guys need? We want to make this exciting for you guys. How's your day been?
Yeah.
Like they're local. It's a smaller city. I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're small too. So it always makes me wonder. I'm like, why, when I go, that's one of the biggest thing that drives me crazy. My girl makes fun of me for it. If we go to anywhere, it could be Wendy's or Double Eagle, doesn't matter, or anything in between. If the service, it's a big pet peeve. I'm like, you can't even smile. You can't even like pretend like that your like day is like good, even though it's not. Like you're getting paid, and you're more likely to get even more money if you're nice.
If you're just nice.
I just don't understand it. So when I go to like Wendy's, you know, sometimes they're like, do you want to try the extra bacon burger? Like they just do that right away.
Yeah.
So no matter what they say, if they do, you want to try the bacon? I go, I'm good. How are you doing? And I don't say it like, I don't say it rude. I say it like if I actually thought
like you say it like you smiled saying it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm good. How are you doing? And they're like, I'm awesome. Like it changes them and then they get nice.
Yeah.
Not always, but sometimes. So no matter what. And then I'll look over and my girl will just smile at me. And because I hate that. I'm like, don't like just sales pitch me. Like, is it? And you go to Starbucks, they're on it. You ever been to Starbucks?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How much better can I make your day? I'm like, oh, I could be in the worst mood. I'm like, dude, you did already.
It's like, you know what, bro, honestly, and I just always got to say this. I don't know if I'm all about local businesses, right? Have you ever been to Mateo's?
I've ordered from them through like where they bring it. I've never been
when
there.
you go in there, like they're like, hi, welcome to Mateo. You know, there's nice. Okay, obviously they greeted you, right?
Yeah.
But on your way out, they go, have a blessed day. And I was like, oh my God, Chick-fil-A who? Like
they don't even open on Sundays.
Like, bro, like they're like, have a blessed day. And I'm like, you too.
Thank you. I will now because you said that.
I will now.
But it's like a small thing, right? Yeah. Like in my job, I'm a peer support. So I work with people that are in recovery from substance use, alcohol, or they're considering it, or they have some sort of behavioral health. And I work with all different populations, veterans, homeless people.
Yeah.
I'm totally mixed, diverse. No, you know what I mean? Every ethnicity, culture, like it's all blended in. And I take the same energy to everyone I meet. And trust me, you ever talk to a homeless person? They're not the most cheery people in the world. Yeah. But when you go up to them with, I don't have to be cheery, but authentically interested in them, take a genuine interest and bring some sort of like, how are you doing? Hey, like just some sort of like, I care a little bit about this conversation. Yeah. The amount of information that you can extract from them is way higher. Plus that information could be used to help them, to help you help them or whatever. And it just makes everything easier. So I bring that into everything I do, no matter who it is. And sometimes it doesn't, even if they continue to be kind of low down, rude, whatever they are, then it doesn't bother me. Like I move on with my day. Mm-hmm. But you kind of have to bring that energy, man, because at the end of the day, you decide like your impact in how people are going to remember you. Yeah. Right. If someone else throws a fit or acts crazy, people are going to remember your response to that, not theirs. At least people that you talk to, right? Exactly. He has his own relationships to worry about. But if you are at a party and you argue with a guy or something and something pops off, I'm going to remember what you did, what you said, that's what I'm going to remember. Yeah. So it's up to you. Like, how did you handle that kind of thing? It's the same thing in anything in life. People, whether you're out in public and get into an argument or you're being nice, you're being kind, people will see that. And then you in this town being small, you never knew who you're going to run into. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, that's that dude. I was at Albertsons and some dude like was rude to him and he said, God bless you and walked away. You never know, man. Like stuff like that happens. Yeah. I have a funny story. Oh, before I get to this, shooting at the game concert. You didn't finish that.
All right. So, where was that? Okay. So anyways, me and Drew was doing his superstar thing for the moment. You know, people were like, feeling him. You're dope. Yeah. Like honestly, like they were feeling him. And honestly, Drew put on a very, very good performance, you know? And so me and Drew were hanging out. And we had already seen the Games band earlier in the day. We had already seen Whack 100, Games manager. We had already seen him earlier in the day, like, you know, with the band and everything. And so when we had finished making our rounds, you know, when people like, you know, like wanting Drew's autograph, you know, shirts, you know, this and that, pictures with us, everything. We're walking and we see a big group because obviously we're allowed backstage, you know? So we see a big group.
After you performed?
After we performed, okay. Yeah. And this is about let's say like one set before the game was supposed to go on. Mm-hmm. And me and Drew see this big group forming around the side of the stage. And we're like, that doesn't look good. And we're like, well, obviously there's a game, you know, there's Whack. There's the whole group just standing around like pissed off. And we're like, this just doesn't look good.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't feel right. And of course, we wanted to stay and watch the game perform, but something just told us, hey, man, like, let's go.
Yeah, this feels wrong.
Yeah, like this does not feel good. We're not even a city that we know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't even know like where an escape route would be. Like, if we were here, like, we're just like, you know what? Let's just go. We get out, and then pop, pop, we hear gunshots. And that's when we knew it. We were just like, we made it out just in time.
Jesus.
We
so
made
was there
it.
a story about it, or did you guys just kind of move on?
Honestly, dude, we just left. We
You're in a strange city.
Yeah,
so
yeah, dude. We went back to our hotel and everything. All of a sudden, it was all over the news. We had people like tagging us, like, "Hey, are you guys good?" We were like, "Yeah," like, you know. But it was just crazy because TMZ reported about it and everything, and we were like, "Yeah, this is like." But it was kind of a cool story to tell. Because like, yeah, like that's where we were at. We were just there.
So did you
know?
ever get the end of the story? Do you know? Did anyone get shot, or someone just shot some shots off?
No one got shot. No one got injured. Luckily, from what I recall, should look it up because I don't remember. But I do think that it did, because with the size of the crowd, the size of the venue, you know, you think the size of the crowd, size of the venue, cost of the tickets, and the cost of the game. I just think it was one of those things they didn't have the money for it, which happens. You know what I mean? That does happen quite often.
Well, with that fan base too, you get some wild people.
Yeah, and you're and
if you're
and,
a fan of the game,
yeah, and it's the game, you know. But you know, and that's one of those things, like, you know, it happens. It happens a lot more than people think.
Yeah,
you know, because it is a very it's a risk. You're taking a risk. You're giving an artist X amount of money to come out to your city and perform, and you're basically telling your city, hey, we're bringing this person for this amount of money. Come out.
They shot that girl from The Voice. Do you remember that? There's a girl. Her name was Christina Grimmie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
On The Voice, and some person just nice. I don't know her, right? Seems like a nice girl, young girl. Just walked up and shot her on stage or something. Right when she got off, I think. And then it turns out I kind of followed a little bit Adam Levine, like through her funeral and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just a fan that was obsessed with her. Like he like loved her. They found her, and I'm like, what? Like, so the reason why I brought that up is because you're right. Like I'm sure she didn't think that was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, she's riding this huge wave from this successful show where she was like the runner up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, she probably thought, I mean, you meet some crazy people, I'm sure, but that's always like a possibility.
And it becomes, and you know, and as a person who's a name in the industry, they become obsessed. Like, people become obsessed with these people. Like, you know, let's this Bad Bunny thing, for instance, bro.
I don't know too much about this guy, but I know that he's coming to the El Paso, and apparently the tickets are like outrageously expensive.
Outrageous.
Is he that popular to merit it, in your opinion?
Okay, so as a DJ, I will say that he does have songs. Okay, he does have good music. But in my personal and humble opinion, okay, I just think it's an overreaction. I think that whoever is on his marketing team did an amazing fucking job and hired 3,000 people to be like, hey, obsess over this. We'll give you $100 to obsess over this.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like, because honestly, that's what people do. That's what like artists will do. They will pay crowds and they will pay people. They will pay influencers to be like, oh my God, Bad Bunny's having a concert. Well, you have an influencer online, you know, 3 million followers. Of those 3 million followers, 500,000 of them know who Bad Bunny is. This one person's obsessing over it. So guess what? They're going to obsess over it now.
Yeah.
And that's only because that's what's trendy. Like, oh my God, this person with 3 million followers, you know.
So what are they selling the tickets for?
Dude, some of the tickets are like $2,800, $3,000.
Do you think it's COVID too, though? People are dying to go to a concert.
You know what? I think people are dying to go to a concert, but at the same time too, it's like I had made posts earlier, and you know what? And honestly, I'm all about it. Like, I'm all about, hey, Bad Bunny, get your money, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
All about it. But like, my thing is that, you know, just a couple months back, you had 1 million people saying that, hey, we need more money. We're struggling right now. We're struggling. Times are hard. You know what I mean? And then this guy comes out with tickets, and people waiting hours, 3-4 hours.
Did he sell out?
Yeah. Like, in every city. As a matter of fact, and I posted about it earlier today. Like, I was just like, you know, like, I can guarantee you this guy's going to double up his shows in every single city.
Yeah.
Because the way that these guys have it set up, because they're such big artists, like sometimes they'll have a show on a Saturday, and then they'll have a show on a Thursday, then a Friday, or they'll have a show like on a Sunday and then they'll have one on a Friday and Saturday, you know, and they spread out their shows. So like when it comes down to it, like there are some cities that they can double up on the show, and on each show he's making at least $2-3 million.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
wild,
and it's crazy. And, you know, and like I said, though, like, you know, I'm all about Bad Bunny making his money. I'm all about any performer making their money, you know, but it's just crazy to me that like, dude, like people are so obsessed that they will spend this money.
I was gonna say, what's even crazier is that people bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he knew that. Good marketing at this point.
So amazing marketing, dude.
But God, man, I don't want to see people online complaining about help.
Yeah, dude. And that's what I like on my post. I was like, man, like, you know, you had all these people saying that they're going through a hard time. They don't know how they're going to get through the next month and this and that. And then 2 months later, you have Bad Bunny selling tickets for $1,000, $2,000.
That's all a stimulus really is. It's just if everyone saved their stimulus, the government they failed. Yeah. The whole point of the stimulus is to go out and spend it and give it right back to us. Exactly. Because it gets the economy going. So I guess they kind of expected it. And we're human beings, man. If you don't have any money and that check hits your account,
do you spend it?
Yes. And it's almost like I remember I was like living paycheck to paycheck. I remember a time when I was doing that, and it's funny looking back on it now because I'm a little bit more older and mature. Yeah. But I remember working, I used to work at a call center here in town. It used to be called RDD.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I used to work at RDD. First of all, they wouldn't let me work 40 hours. So I was literally working like 20 to 25 hours. So was that part-time? Yeah. And they're paying me. All I remember is literally getting like $200 to $300 paychecks, like for 2 weeks of work. Yeah. And I remember like not wanting, like friends would be like, hey, we're saving up for tickets for spring break or something. Yeah. And I would never want to do anything ever because I'm like $300. I got my rent for whatever. Obviously 2 weeks of that, right? So my rent was like $400. Yeah. $200 each check goes to that. There's me $100 left over. God, that's time. Gas money and alcohol money. And that's all it was. And here's how I'll tell you one little part of that I just thought of right now. Here's how poor I was at one point. I used to live with Stefan off of Bex. Yeah. And I was so poor, man. And I was working at the time. I knew my go-tos, I would always buy 2 Four Lokos. They're like 2 for $4. Bro. And then I would buy a green chili double from Whataburger. And I knew just the burger. I knew exactly, I don't remember anymore, but at the time I knew exactly how much the 2 Four Lokos and the burger were put together. I think it came out to like $11.38 or something specific. And I would literally every day, my goal for the day was to try to come up with $11.58, whatever it was. And that was my whole, and every day I'm like Stefan would be like, hey, can you do this for me? I'm like, I'll do it for $11.58. All I wanted was to get my burger and to get my 2 Four Lokos. That's crazy, dude.
But you know what, though? I want to give a shout out to Four Lokos, man. Those people, that company, when we were all low on money, that company kept us drunk.
How do I get wasted off $6 or less?
Let me tell you, I just remember at one point, I kind of went through it a little bit. Yeah. And, and I just remember, like, I was like, man, I want to go to the bar. And I'm like, but bro, I don't want to spend all this money at the bar. I have money, but I just know that if I get drunk at the bar and open a tab, I'm going to spend money at the bar. And I don't want to do that right now because I'm trying to save this money. So I will go to the gas station and get 2 Four Lokos, go to my, slam one, and then be in the bar all drunk and then be like, do you know it's wearing off? It's 12 o'clock. Let me go back to my car now.
Run out to the car.
And run out to the car and slam another Four Loko, go back in, and I'm blacked out.
That was the way to do it, though. Yeah. Man. Yeah. I know what you're saying, the whole chug the drink real quick. That never works out, by the way. It's always a good idea in the moment, but when you do it, you're like, oh, I should have done that.
I shouldn't have done that.
It's so funny to think back to that, man, because that was the wave. I remember, and I've struggled with alcohol use, man, and I drink now. It's just way more controlled. Yeah. And before, I had this thought, probably because I was so broke, when I would go out places and people would offer alcohol or something, I'm like, I need to get the most I can get because I get this again. You know what I mean? And so I would overdrink or I would have 3 beers in my pocket. Remember those Sandhill house parties we used to throw?
Oh, yeah, house bro.
On Sandhill?
Bro.
Just walking around with pockets full of beer, man. And then people, when it was done to me, it wasn't fun. When I was the one doing it, it was dope. Oh, but yeah. When people would come to my house and I see them walking around with 5 of my beers in their pocket, I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Bro. Dude, honestly, and it's crazy thinking about that because and I will say this, bro, as a DJ, this is why, as a DJ and as an artist, I remember being signed to a record label, dude, and everybody wanted to buy me alcohol. And it's one of those things that at that point, I had the money, yeah. But it was do you know what? I'll let them buy me a shot, yeah. I'll let them buy me a shot by the end of the night. I'm hammered, wasted, and I go to the bar to get my tab, and they're like, your tab's like $9. I'm like,
where was this when I didn't have the money?
Like, exactly, dude. Like, and it's crazy, dude. Because now that I think about it, like, like the way that you said it, like, you do everything that, like, you're gonna take in everything that you can, bro.
It's weird how that happens.
Yeah, dude.
And I don't know. It just stopped one day. I think being more successful helps, or being able to pay for it yourself. But
yeah.
I don't know what it was, man. I just remember thinking, I need to get all of this. I remember calling friends up because I'm like, we need to go find a party specifically to hope they have alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, not even because we want to meet friends, or we couldn't afford our own stuff. We would like find whatever friend had the car, give them $5 for gas. And then if they have alcohol, like, we're there.
Bro. Well, I remember, dude, remember we would get the forwarded text messages?
The 40.
The forwarded text messages,
bro.
Yes, where it was just like an address to some house.
And you just sent it to like 10 of your friends.
And then you sent it to like all your
thing.
friends. And then they sent it to somebody. And then you would get there, and then like you'd see like 50 people walking out. They'd be like, oh, they're out of alcohol. And you're like, okay, next party. And then all of a sudden you're getting another forwarded text message. So you're like, all right, we're going to go here. We're going to go here. We're going to go here. And then like, I just remember, dude, like we would pull up to parties like 15, 20 people deep. Cause I remember it was all of us.
Wild, bro.
I remember it was all of us. And then we would pull up to a party, and like, dude, like, and we would down, like, they would have kegs, they would have bottles, they would have jungle juice, bro. Like, the devil was jungle juice, bro. Like, that was like, I don't know whose idea
they made
it was.
It right. If they made it right.
Yeah, bro. Like, that stuff was the devil, though, bro. Like, that, like, it was evil.
Well, that's how they got the ladies, right? Because if you want to have ladies over to drink, you can't have a bunch of beer, right?
Yeah, you had
guys
jungle
would just
juice.
make jungle juice or Jello shots. Those are the two. You can get anyone with that.
Yep.
Because you don't know. You know how much cups of jungle juice I drink? I'm like, I could drink these. And then the next thing you know, you're like, you can't even hold a conversation, dude.
You can't even talk. Bro, but the crazy part is, man, is that when you think about it, we're going through a pandemic right now, right? We're afraid to touch people. We're afraid to like hug people and everything. Bro, these jungle juices, we were getting cups and all putting our hands in this cup. We don't know.
Beer pong with the actual beer.
Yeah,
remember
with the actual beer.
Dude, our generation. I think that's why our immune systems are so good, though.
Amazing, bro. Amazing.
We're out there rolling in the dirt. It's crazy, man, because the Sandhill House, some of the biggest parties in my life were through there.
Yeah.
Were you there the day we all got arrested?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So did you get arrested with us?
No,
I didn't. The reason why I ask, I'm sure people listening, like, you would know.
Yeah.
They ended up arresting 24 of us, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot. So I wasn't sure who all was there. And I'll tell the story because it's kind of funny. We had thrown this party. We threw so many parties, I don't even remember what it was for. But all I remember is we had a keg. Yeah. And the cops would show up a lot. And
always.
So we would always just talk to them and they would leave.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we knew that we were like pushing it. These cops would come because it was barely outside of city limits. So it was always the sheriff.
Yeah. And
these guys were like, hey, man, we have to come to your house next weekend because we know you throw parties every weekend.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to arrest some people. So we knew we were on thin ice. And there was a DJ there that day. I'm not sure. You were DJing that day, or somebody was DJing for sure.
Do you know what? Honestly, I think, I think that's why I didn't get arrested.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get arrested.
I remember, so maybe that's what it was. Maybe you were loading the equipment up and something.
Yeah.
So they came, and I'm going to leave a few names out of this on purpose. But anyways, we knew that there was going to be an issue. One guy fights a kid, chases him down the street. We don't even know this at the time. Mm-hmm. Chases this kid down the street who thinks he's going to die. And the guy chasing him is like one of the local guys that's known for beating the crap out of people. Chases him to my next door neighbor's house, starts banging on the door for help. This guy bull rushes him, breaks the neighbor's door down. This is like 1 a.m. So the sleeping family's like, what the heck? They come running out and there's just some dude beating up a kid, like, and the door's broken. So they call the cops. Apparently someone got stabbed. We think to this day, the cops made that up. Yeah. Because I spoke to that guy and he admitted beating that dude up.
Yeah.
And I talked to a bunch of people. I think the cops made up the stabbing part to make it seem more real, or more like you guys are going to be in trouble. But they ended up showing up to the door. All I remember, I was like, get that keg out of here. You need to pull a little bit?
Yeah. No, it's all good. I'm fixing it.
I was telling him, like, get that keg out of here. Like, I know we're going to get in trouble. Like, and you know what I mean? And so just hide it somewhere. And they decided to hide it in my closet, in my room, that back room that was mine. Yeah. They stuffed it in the closet. Now, my friend Lloyd, you know Lloyd.
Yeah.
Lloyd's there. And one of his relatives, because it started off early, it was kind of a barbecue-ish kind of thing, had his kids there. And they were still there. There's so many people that night. And so I didn't know this. But they decided, and when I say kids, like, they're like, one was 16, 17, and like 15.
Just to clarify.
Yes. And they're all boys. So these aren't like underage girls, but they're underage and they weren't drinking. But they decided to hide them someone said like, hey, have them hide. And they put them in my closet with the keg, dude.
Shit.
And so when
I didn't even know that.
So this is what happens. So when the cops show up and they're like, hey, we're taking people this time. We're so sick of you guys. Where's the alcohol? We know you have alcohol. We always have alcohol. And they start searching the house. Like, in the movie, everyone's like, you can't do that. You don't have a warrant. You don't have a warrant. They're like, all right, whatever, drunk asshole. Yeah, they don't care. They never cared. And so they just went to the room and they go, Will, come here. And they bring me to my room and they go, what's this? And they open my closet door and there's like 3 kids sitting on a keg. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to prison for life, man. I like this. I had no explanation. I'm like, this is bad. Like, I didn't know they were even there anymore. Yeah. And I definitely didn't know they threw the keg and those kids in there.
The same closet.
I looked at the cop and I said, hey, man, I have no, like, they weren't drinking. And the kids weren't. The cops knew that. They're like, whatever. They all left with their parent who was there. They ended up arresting 24 of us, I think, total. 22 or 24. And they would bring cars in. And they would load 3 of us.
And I remember that because I remember I was putting my stuff away and I just remember like it was like the same cops and everybody was just out there just waiting. Yeah.
And they took us all. And it was like, at this point, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. Where they put us in a giant conference room in this police station. And they take us out to interview us. They interviewed me first because I live there. And they said that it's funny because they kept saying like, we're responding to a stabbing, but we can't tell you more about it. How many people were there? Who's underage?
Yeah.
They didn't ask a lot about a stabbing. They did mention the assault next door.
Yeah.
And they interviewed us. I think they interviewed like a total of 6, 7, and they got bored. And the cops were like, you know what, just go home. I overheard they had to call in like the sergeant. I don't know how cops work. The main guy.
Yeah.
Because they're like, man, we can't just arrest 24 people and not tell the main dude. So the main dude came in and that guy was mad at the officer. It's like, why are you bringing these kids in, man? You waking me up at 4 a.m. to come down here for this shit.
Yeah.
Like the cop was kind of mad. They ended up just letting us all go. No one got charges. Everyone, like, I think these 2 cops were just really mad that we were throwing parties.
Because they have to go over there every weekend.
Yeah. And I think they made up the stabbing thing to let us know, like, hey, you can't be doing this. This is serious stuff. We ended up going home like 7, 8 in the morning. By the time they let us go, my house is destroyed because of the party. But yeah, I'll never forget that, man. Now as an adult, I look back, I'm like, dude, you can't have kids on a keg in your closet. Like that's easily, I could have gone to jail for that.
Yeah.
Or plus all the alcohol, the drunk people, the beating next door. Like they could have found a way to tie me to that, even though I had no idea about it. So I just look back and I'm like, God, man, like what a crazy life we've lived.
Yeah, bro. And it's crazy to think about, dude, because like, honestly, like how many parties did we throw?
Oh, way too many.
Bro.
I remember having 3. Remember you mentioned the 4 things?
Yeah.
I remember only knowing about 3 parties and being worried that it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, we only have 3. Well, we better hope they pan out. Like,
bro. Okay. And you know what? And I'm not trying to, Lloyd, I just want to say we had like 4 going away parties for Lloyd.
He still doesn't go away, man. That guy still comes back.
He still comes back every time. Shout out Lloyd, man.
Yeah, it was. If there was any reason to throw a party, we'd find a way.
Yeah.
Oh, new job party. Yeah. You got fired party.
Yeah, bro. Like it's just crazy, especially like looking back at it now, dude. Like I'm just getting all kinds of memories, like just when we were younger, man. It was honestly right out of high school, dude. Like right out of high school was when we were the craziest.
The social. What comes from parties is the social part. The alcohol ends up. My first party ever, I wasn't thinking about. I don't think I drank at all my first party.
Yeah, I
was just excited. Like I played basketball, and I'm like I get to meet girls and people and stuff. And obviously you drink some alcohol, and then it becomes that. But for whatever reason, like that during high school, and then to a few years after it, the social standing you have with people kind of matters.
Yeah,
and then you can mature, and it still matters a little. Like I care if people think I'm annoying or not, but not enough to let it ruin my day.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I definitely don't care. Like I can go out and not drink and feel good, and I can go out and drink and feel good too and have better boundaries.
Yeah.
But there's something about those years where it was like, you just had to get wild. And the wilder it was, the cooler the stories. Yeah. And obviously we're telling some now, they're cool stories.
Yeah. The wilder it was, the cooler the story. And it's just like
the repercussions though, man. I am so glad I didn't ever get like in trouble. I mean, I got in trouble a few times, but nothing long lasting, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, you had 3 kids on a keg, bro.
That's a pretty bad like image, man. Like it was even. I must have been 19 or 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Even me, like in my head, like I related to the cops. Like when I would been drinking all night, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I get it. Like I was on their side. I'm like, I'd arrest me too, man.
Man,
like, I had no response.
Man, this is rough.
Yeah. I'm like, where are your parents?
This is an ugly picture here.
I didn't even try to explain.
Wonder whose house this is. I was kidding.
The benefit was the parent ended up being one of the people that got arrested.
Yeah.
That's not a benefit. The benefit is that their parents were there and he got to explain to them, like, hey, those are my kids who were here earlier.
Yeah.
He got to take care of that part. So I didn't have to worry about it.
So
yeah,
dude,
that's a bad look, man. That's probably not even in my top 10 craziest things that's happened in my life. And that's a wild story, man.
I know.
To arrest that many people, dude. And some of the people listening to the podcast were there that day. And
Yeah.
They also, a few of them got arrested.
Probably.
Amber and Cherry, we were the three in my car.
Yeah.
Like, they took us in threes.
Yeah.
It was us three. So I was with those two the whole night. Like, obviously when they put us in the room, it was all of us. But
yeah.
So I know they'll remember that story for sure. But it's just wild, man. It's just wild to look back on it and to think like, I have a question for you because you're DJing, you're kind of in that scene a little bit,
yeah,
but you're obviously not the same person.
Yeah.
Do you ever get caught up or do you kind of like have better boundaries now that you're older?
Honestly, I have a lot better boundaries. Like I will say that there are nights, man, that me and Neo, who's the DJ I DJ with a lot now, that we just kind of let loose, dude. Like, and we'll get back, we'll drink and we'll go crazy. But even like as I'm drunk, like I still know like, okay, can't do this. I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Well, some people just aren't, you're not wild. Like even when you drink a little, I've seen you pretty like drinking a lot. And some people they should not drink or drink way less.
Oh yeah.
But you seem like you have the type of personality that if you over drink, you're probably like, hey, someone take me home or I'm going to Uber it. Like, and you kind of just chill. I don't see you picking a fight.
Yeah,
or
I chill. I don't pick fights or anything like that. But I will say that like I'm a lot more social. Like I'm like,
drinking?
yeah.
Oh,
because like that's one thing about me is that I'm not like out there and I don't like go and talk to everybody, but I'm super social when I drink. Like I'm like, hey, it's good to see you. And then I always sit here and I talk for 20 minutes and run back and go change the song real quick and then go back to the conversation because like I'm caught up in a conversation that I probably shouldn't be having while I'm DJing, But anyways,
there's no rules, man. Yeah. You run the show, do whatever you want.
But yeah, man. No, like I will say that like I compared to what we used to be, man. Compared to like how things used to be, like with like I'm when I look back at partying, bro, I think of like days like when we used to go to Juarez and we used to go to J-Town. And
people don't know about that.
They don't know about that.
Because that stopped pretty quickly afterwards.
Yeah.
And then so for sure the generation after us don't know at all. But that was the thing to do.
That was
let's set the stage for people that don't know. If you were remotely look like you could kind of be 18, not even 21, 18. You could go. So I remember going at like 16.
Yeah.
And I think I remember needing an ID saying I was 18. So I used my brother's. Yeah. But I could have given them an ID of like anybody, a house cat. And they didn't care.
As long
as it said you're 21.
They didn't care. As long as it said that you were of some sort of age that's like legal to drink, they would let you.
Yeah.
And then the crazy part is, I tell this story to people because like there are people who absolutely don't know anything about partying, like a tequila derby or like things like that, bro. And I was like, yeah, dude, I remember, here we run up $150 tabs and you know what I mean? And in Mexico, we would drink 4 times the amount that we drink here, and we paid $5 at the door.
And then tips, right?
Yeah,
that was the only I remember is $5 like drink to use drown kind of thing. But if you're at the bar, I mean, you might luck out and get someone to order. But if there's 3 people in front of you and you have like a little cash in your hand, they'll jump over them to get you.
Exactly.
So you're right. The minus whatever you tipped, which isn't that much. You could literally tip them $1 or $2. Yeah, they'll appreciate that. But yeah, you just get hammered, bro. Remember the Flamin' Doc? That was my first ever Flamin' Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, and then I just remember, dude, like here, it's like a 2-drink limit. So it's like you have your 2 drinks. Over there, you can have 15 drinks in your arms. Remember,
there would be round tables with empty bottles that people would just kind of like throw them all there, and I just covered with them.
And I just remember because I was so young, dude. Then I started drinking Coronas. I had no idea that Coronas existed. I only knew that Coronitas existed because that's all. Because that's all they had in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, because that's all they had in Mexico. Like, that's all I was aware of was what they drank in Mexico. So I didn't even know if they had bigger bottles of Corona because in Mexico you would carry 17 Coronitas to your table, and then like somebody else is carrying 15 of those blue shots that they made with the carnation milk. I don't know what it was that like they just always like.
Do you remember the Incredible Hulks?
Oh yeah, bro.
Those were really good,
dude. Like, and it's crazy. Like thinking about it, it's like, man, I really wish I can go back to J-Town and and spend $5.
I wonder if it'll ever. How much money do you think that city lost when we stopped going over there?
A lot.
right?
Because what I came to the conclusion of, man, is that all those bars were just cover-ups. Like, I came to that conclusion.
That's a good point.
That all those bars
are
just cover-ups.
It's a front. Pack it up. That's when we do our business.
Because if you think about it, bro, they were giving away alcohol.
Yeah.
You paid $5 at the door to give away alcohol, but cops wouldn't go in there. They wouldn't go into these bars, so they don't know what they're charging. They don't know anything. They just, you paid $5 and they were giving you.
They would wait right outside of them. Though.
Yeah.
I got arrested there.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Me and Stefan got arrested in Juarez. We went to the Juarez jail.
Oh shit!
And it wasn't even a derby night, but it was during that same time frame when everyone was going.
Yeah.
Stefan wanted to get contact lenses, and they're really hard to find.
Oh
here,
yeah,
unless they're
because Stefan was all about that contact lens stuff.
He wanted either white or black or something, and they had him there, and they're like $5. He's like, let's go, and it was middle of the day, and then so we go there, and we tell the guy what he wanted, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna make them for you. Give me like 30 minutes, and then come get them.
Yeah.
And then so we walk out, and then Stefan's bright idea. I was like, so what do we do? He's like, well, let's go get some beers. And I'm like, well, like, should we go to a bar? Should we go to the Derby?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, we'll just go to the gas station. You can just walk around and drink here. They don't care. And I didn't know. I was like young. And so I'm like, all right, they don't really care about much here. So maybe you can't walk around with alcohol in public.
Dude.
I didn't know that. I just listened to him. He had been there more times than me. So we go to Walgreens. We buy 2 40s in a brown bag, just like in the movies. We literally get 2 steps outside. I think I took a drink of it. And then policia. They threw us against the wall. And I have no idea what they're saying. And they're like asking for money. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't like, we just spent it all in there and on these 40s. And they take our 40s. They throw us in the back of it's literally one of the smallest trucks I've ever seen. It was like the size of an S10.
Yeah.
With a camper on it.
Yeah.
And they throw us back
the back of the camper.
With all these other guys that are drunk, which apparently drinking during the day is a huge thing there.
Yeah.
It's like midday. They throw us in there. There's literally like 15 of us in the back of this truck. None of them spoke English. One guy ends up speaking English and Spanish. And he's the one he's telling me, hey, if you give me some money, I'll get you out of here. I'm like, what is up? Like, we're just kids. And we're like, dude, we don't have money. Dude, like, what do you want? He's like, just tell these guys that you have money. We're offering them credit cards, jewelry, everything. They wouldn't take it. They end up throwing a guy back there with us who was kind of drunk.
Yeah.
And then something happened. They open the door. They start talking to him in Spanish. And that dude in the back gets in the cop's face. And he was like, whatever in Spanish, cussing at him and yelling at him. And then the cops go like, all right. And they let him go. And then so we're like, what? And the guy translated like, hey, they just found a bunch of cocaine in that guy's car. And the cop said, what are you doing with this cocaine? And the guy told the cops, like, if you don't let me out of here, like, you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
And told him something, and the cops let him go. So then we were like, we'll fucking kill you, like, to the cops. It's just not a good idea. Because we're like, if that's how it works around here, we're like, we're part of this huge American family, man. Like, you don't let us go. And they're like, we don't speak English. They had no effect. They ended up taking us to jail. Oh, here's how we get it out. They didn't take my cell phone from me. So while in the back of the S10 truck, I call my brother. And he doesn't answer because when you call from Mexico, it shows up as a weird number.
Yeah.
And I kept calling him. Finally, he answered. He was at an Oñate basketball game. And I'm like, hey, me and Stefan are arrested in Mexico. He thought we were kidding.
Yeah.
Hangs up. I'm like, no. I call him back and he answers again. I said, Colin, I swear to God, I'm like, our family's graves. Like, you need to come get me. We're in the back of a truck. We're going to jail. And he goes, what? And he rounds up a girl I was dating at the time and he gets money from all of our friends. And the girl I was dating at the time's brother lived in Juarez.
Yeah.
So they met up with him. We spent like a half day in there, man, almost like 12 hours, whatever it ended up being. And they came and got us out, man.
That's wild.
And I never went back ever again after that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, dude, it was wild. And in there, we had a plan that Steph would take turns sleeping. And Stefan, I was like, you sleep, I'll watch you, like military style.
Yeah.
And then Stefan goes, all right, you go to sleep first. And then I'll wake you up in like 2 hours. So I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I go to bed. I wake up and he's passed out next to me. We're in the middle of like there's roaches on the floor. It's a room with bars and then just people everywhere. All of them spoke Spanish, singing in Spanish the whole night. And we're like, oh my God. And I wake up and he's sleeping right next to me. I was like, get up, bro. I could have got killed, man. Like, what the fuck? I was so mad. I was like, you're the worst cellmate ever.
You're the worst lookout ever.
And these, I could say Mexican dudes and not be racist because they're literally in Mexico.
Literally Mexicans.
These Mexican dudes fucked with Stefan they kept playing pranks on him. They ended up getting him a Mountain Dew. They go, you want Mountain Dew? And I looked at him like, come on, we're not giving us Mountain Dew in jail. And he goes, oh, like, sure. And he takes a drink and they all go, ah, and they start laughing. And the other guy's like, dude, they got it from like the toilet. Like,
oh, bro.
they did like 3 things to him and they just kept fucking with him. And he's like, God damn it. Sorry, Stefan. He's like, why are you telling this story? But yeah, they just kept messing with him. And when we got out, they ended up keeping my phone, ran up like a $3,000. So they stole my phone from me.
Yeah.
They ran up like $3,000 in international charges. I had to put a claim with Verizon. It was wild. I just never went back, man.
Bro. Okay. So the closest store that I've ever gotten to getting arrested in Mexico was, so it was the last Thursday, what everybody called it, the last Thursday. It was the Thursday, the day before, like they were saying the bloodbath was going to happen, where like the next day, like literally like 180 people were shot in Juarez. Jeez. And killed. So it was like the last Thursday, like they were setting rules. They're like, you know what, you're gonna need a passport, all this other stuff to go to Mexico from here on out. So everyone was like, oh, we're just gonna go to Juarez tonight, you know?
Like one final time.
Yeah, one final time. It was the last Thursday, that's what they called it. Like I said, we all went and partied in Mexico, dude. Crazy. Like it was the craziest party I'd ever been to in my life ever. And
was it at the Derby?
It was at the Derby.
Yeah.
And so everybody was wasted. Everybody, you know, and I'm trying to hook up with people. Everybody's trying to hook up with people. Like I'm telling you, dude, it was wild. It was wild. And Cameron Fisher, I don't know if you know Cameron Fisher.
I don't think so.
But anyways, he was super drunk, and Cameron was one of those guys that like new cell phone came out, he had it. Knew this, he had it. Like he didn't like wasn't flashy, but he always dressed super like you can tell that, you know, he put money into everything that he did. Well, we're there, dude, and we're hammered, bro, like fucking hammered, like beyond like any drunk that I can like just it was bad, but like I mean, you know, like we were expecting it, you know. And then so Cameron runs inside and he's like, bro, I just got jumped by cops. And I said, no, you didn't. He's like, they stole my phone. They stole my wallet. They stole everything. I was like, there's no fucking way, dude. And I was like, bro, you're just drunk. And then like he started drinking more. He was all pissed off. So we're like, let's take shots, blah, blah, blah. Like, so the night's over.
What are you going to do? That's a tough spot.
Bro.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? Let's just keep taking shots, blah, blah, blah. And the night's over. People are passed out in the bathroom. There was a girl like with her boobs hanging out, laying on the bar. Like it was like,
like a movie scene.
It was like crazy, bro. And then so we're going out. I have Cameron over my shoulders. Like you know, I'm holding because he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
We're getting to the border. You know that little thing that counts you?
Yep. Before you hit the bridge.
And so I like was getting there and I was like about to push in, and all of a sudden I get punched in the face.
While you're holding your boy?
Yeah, while I'm holding my boy. And so I don't even think twice about it. You know, this is the point where we're all fighters.
Yeah.
So like I don't even think twice about it. I just turn, I just lay somebody out, bro. It was a cop. A cop that had jumped Cameron. One of the cops that had jumped Cameron went back to get Cameron to arrest him.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I had punched the cop and laid him out. Well, they had grabbed Cameron from me because there was two of them. And I just see the other one start running toward me. And I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm not going to jail. Like, and so I took off, bro. Like I went through the thing, like, and there was like, I know that there was at least one cop chasing me.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how many cops chasing me. I just know I went
sure
through
some of them stopped to help that guy.
Yeah. So I went through the ticker thing and I'm booking it, bro. I'm booking it.
I'm just getting back to America. And people don't know how crazy you're literally fight. Like you're trying to, because you might die if you stay there.
Bro. And so I just remember, God, like, bless. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. You know how there's beggars on the bridge?
Yes.
How there were a ton of beggars on the bridge. Like, you know, they would wait for you to, bro. I just remember seeing them and I just emptied out my pockets. Like running, I emptied out my pockets right in front of them, hoping that they would get in the way of the cop. Dude, I was so scared. My mind was like, bro, I'm gonna get arrested. I'm gonna get arrested. I'm gonna die.
So where's your boy in all this?
So
don't think I forgot about.
So they grab. So I make it across the bridge, bro. I get across, dude, and even that line, bro. Yeah. I didn't give a fuck about that line, bro. I ran. I kept running all the way to the checkpoint, bro. As soon as I got to where other people were, that I knew that if these cops were to grab me.
I'd rather get arrested in America.
I would rather get arrested in America and have the Border Patrol be like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And save me because they can't arrest me in America. So I want to make sure I was around people. So like I got there. Well, it turns out they were taking Cameron to the police vehicle or like whatever was. I didn't see it. Mm-hmm. And there was a girl with us. I'm not going to say her name because, you know, obviously like, I haven't talked to her in years, so I don't know. But I guess what they had said, honestly, bro, I don't know who this girl knew in Mexico, but she was always in Mexico.
Yeah.
She was always in Mexico. She was like, very well taken care of. Very, like, you know what I mean?
She might have had some connections there.
Yeah, bro. Well, like they said, because we were with a big group of people,
Mm-hmm.
I took off running, the group stayed behind, like worried about Cameron.
Oh, that makes sense. So you didn't just leave your boy there.
Yeah.
You were in a group.
Yeah, we were in a group.
You,
Yeah, I didn't just leave Cameron, guys.
Did you see my concern? I'm like, what happened to Cameron?
You left him by himself. No, we were with a group of like 15 people, bro.
Got you.
Yeah, it was with Cameron. We were with this guy Carlos Espinosa. We were with Hector.
I know
Crespo.
Carlos.
Yeah, we were Hector Crespo, Sean
Hector.
Weatherill.
I know Sean.
Remember Crazy Bitch? Nikki Vasanko or whatever her name was.
So yes.
Yes, that's what we called her. We called her Crazy Bitch. She called herself Crazy Bitch, okay?
That's why I didn't pick up on it.
Yeah. So anyways, so they stayed behind,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that girl had gone to the cops, and they said that they were putting Cameron in the car, and that she walked up to the cops, and whatever she told them, they handed Cameron over. Like, they were like, nah, like, we're not even worried about this. Like, and to this day, I don't know what she said to the cop, but like, that's the first thing that came to mind was that you're like, this guy threatened a cop, but this girl, like super pretty girl, like I don't know who she knew in Mexico or what she knew about, but she knew somebody, but
enough to have that much pull.
Yeah, they handed him over. Like,
I wonder if the cops robbed him and then thought, if this guy goes back and tells the people on that side that happened, they can investigate us. We don't want that. Let's just arrest him.
Maybe.
And that's probably why they came back the second time.
Because, because I will say this, like, Cameron told us, like, yeah, those are the cops that beat me up.
Yeah.
That stole my stuff. Afterward, anyways, because let me tell you, once I was in America, they came too. They were all with us in America. We all met up back together. I waited at the end of the bridge, and we all came back to, after that, and we had an after party. Yeah. At Sean's house. We still partied afterward. The night went on. So the night went on,
what
dude.
An awesome story, though.
Yeah, dude. We had and Cameron was hammered, bro, but it was fun, dude. Like, it was fun. Like, just stories like that, bro. Like, I just think about like how wild we were, like, and
you definitely don't think of the consequences, which is in this case was a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because you got away. Like,
yeah.
Maybe if you don't do that, maybe they get you, right? But it's crazy. It always makes me think of like what I would do with my same mindset. Like if time travel was a real thing and I can go back in time, but somehow keep my same mindset.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would be very productive. I think you need to be a little wild to make it through those years, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like some of the stuff I'm like, they build character. I know it sounds bad. That's not the moral of the story. And I'm not telling kids to go out and do this. But like looking back, you can learn this, you know what I mean? You can learn from it, or you can like, these are like stories where there's like a moral behind it where you're like, all right, this is why you shouldn't do this stuff.
Don't punch police officers.
Yeah. But also this was life then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the thing to do. And so many reckless times where I are getting arrested that day or just stuff like that, man. It's like, it's wild to look back and be like, how am I not a felon?
Yeah.
Or like how, like, did I not get stabbed or shot? You know what I mean?
Or killed or die in Mexico.
Yeah, dude, or wild stuff. I've been beat up at parties, man. But then I look back and I'm like, I was severely outnumbered, man. Those guys could have really jacked me up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Why was I? And I picked the fight sometimes. I'm like, what was I thinking, man? It's just wild to think back. Some people were at a different level, though. Do you know Andrew Montijo?
Yeah. Oh, Montijo?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
I haven't seen him in a while, but he had came into town. He was on leave or something.
Yeah.
And we had gone to this bonfire. And this is when we're doing fighting. So I was like totally in fighter mindset.
Yeah.
If someone did something stupid, I was ready to go. Right. Win or lose, regardless of how good I was, the mindset was just go for it.
Yeah.
And we're at a bonfire one day. We're heavily outnumbered. It was me, Montijo, and my brother. And some guy was trying to beat up my brother.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, we'll fight him. And then he had 10 friends in my head. I'm like, dude, we'll just fight them all.
Yeah.
That's just how I was getting down. And one guy swung at my brother, missed. I was like ready. And Montijo saw it in my eye.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, Will's going to go at these dudes. And he came up to me and he like calmed me down. And he was just on a whole nother level than me. At this time, he'd probably been through he ended up being a ranger or something.
Yeah.
So he'd probably been through tons of training. And he said, Will, trust me, this isn't worth it. We're heavily outnumbered. We got to be smart about this. And I was like, these guys are going to get us if we don't get them. He's like, if that's the case, we'll fight back. But trust me, man, going at him like this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Trust me. This is what I want you to do. You're going to watch those three. I'm going to watch these three. Colin, you're going to watch these three. And just monitor them for the night. they're not messing with us, but maybe they're plotting. Maybe they are. So keep an eye on your 3. Don't look at my, you know what I mean? He was so, and I'm like,
he had a
he was on a different
strategy for
level.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was just like, this is how it'll go down. And I didn't rush in. I'm like, calm. I actually had fun that night. I met a few people. Like it was a bonfire. We partied.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. And I watched my people. They did try to make some moves, but then realized we were onto it. And it was just calm. And I look back and I'm like, God, he was so ahead. So he must be even more intelligent now.
Yeah.
Because he was so ahead. He was just on a more mature level of like, hey, man, I get it. You have to fight sometimes, but this is a losing fight, Will.
Yeah.
Don't let your ego get you into this fight. You
Yeah.
may take the first guy down, but there's no way you're beating up the next 9. You know what I mean? And he's like,
yeah, bro.
Yeah. And he's going to have my back. And so he's probably like, I don't want to be fighting. I'm outnumbered too. All of us are. So it's just crazy. Like some people like that kind of had it earlier, but I didn't. There's a time in my life, I was getting jumped a lot. I was fighting every weekend to the point where when I worked at the call center, like, what do you do on your weekends? I was coming in with black eyes, like bloody knuckles, dude. Like people would tell stories because I'd party with some of these guys from work. They're like, one guy ran me over with his Jeep. And so I punched him in the face. They got out. One guy shot a shot. Me and Lloyd it was a crazy thing. That story went around. And when a story that crazy happens, it gets a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
So by the time it got back to me, they're like, Will, like, beat up 10 dudes and then he got hit by a Jeep. The dude ran over my pant leg. And so he did, but they told the story as if some dude plowed me over with a Jeep.
But you got plowed and then you got up, you got shot 3 times.
Yes, it was
beat
so
up
dramatic.
10 dudes. Lloyd got stabbed. Remember that one time that there that I don't know who it was that stabbed Lloyd. Then like on social media,
I'll never forget that night.
it was like R.I.P. Lloyd. And we were like,
Wait a minute.
What?
Do you know something I don't?
Yeah.
That was another wild night, man. People listening are like, these guys live a crazy life. Yeah, that was New Year's. It was a New Year's party we threw at the house when I was living with them. Actually, I wasn't living with them at the time. I'm part of the reason he got into that fight. And but not really. Here's what happened. Again, Ember. I used to hang out with Ember a lot. I think it was Ember that night.
Yeah.
Someone had spilled a drink on her. There's this one drunk guy there. And then I guess that guy bumped into her, spilled her drink. She went and told Lloyd because it was his house. Like, hey, just so you know, this drunk guy. So Lloyd already had this thing like, all right, I'll watch out for this guy. So he was already mad because Ember is one of his good friends.
Yeah.
And then I was dating a girl at the time and we're outside arguing. And that guy was chiming in. Hey, man, you don't need him. Come with me, girl. And I'm like, hey, man, like mind your business, you know?
Yeah.
And we're arguing about whatever our age argued about. Alcohol, something.
Yeah.
Maybe I talked to a girl. I have no idea. But we're just arguing. I was like, hey, like, just listen to me. And she's fighting. And he goes, girl, come get some of this D. You know, he's saying all this stuff. And I'm like, he was bigger than me.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let Lloyd know. Because Lloyd is way bigger than me. We're all fighting at the
Lloyd,
time.
And you know, we were all fighters at the time, bro. But Lloyd was like the fighter.
You don't want to fight that. He caused us to not be in a lot of fights because people saw him like, never mind. Yeah. So like, honestly, when I went to tell him, I was not hoping that he would go do anything. I was honestly hoping that he would scare the guy, which he did. Lloyd would do that all the time.
Yeah.
So I went over to Lloyd. I was like, hey, and Lloyd was already pissed. I didn't know that. And so I was like, hey man, there's this guy. He's like trying to tell my girl to come get some of his D and like, screw that guy. And Lloyd goes, that guy? He doesn't say anything to me. And I found out later on that he had already had that other incident had already happened. But Lloyd goes up to kick him out, not even like trying to fight him. That dude gets aggressive with Lloyd, and Lloyd just shoves him. Remember how it was like 3 stairs to get to the trailer?
Yeah, on the trailer.
Shoves him down. Everyone floods outside. That's when the whole thing happened. It wasn't the same guy, or it might have been. I was right behind Lloyd, and I saw the hand. That's why I don't see the person. I saw the hand wrap around and stab him right in the back.
Yeah.
And then big ass Lloyd falls on me. Lloyd's cousin ends up knocking dudes out with a rake. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
It was chaos. Full out brawl. Hector's hitting people. Rocks are getting thrown. It was wild. And then, they come. And I remember I thought he might die, man. We were like holding his wound and he was bleeding everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. And then I took him to the hospital. I remember there's an investigator there that night that interviewed us. And being drunk and young and dumb, I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill that guy. And then they're like, dude, you know I'm like a cop, right?
You know I'm literally.
Yeah. And he goes, if that guy ends up dead, you're the first person I'm coming for. I'm like, good, because it'd be me if it happens. I was all drunk. I think I was still sipping. Like I was like 19 years old. Good, because I'm going to be the one. Like, and then later looking back, I'm like, dude, what am I, an idiot, dude? I was never going to do that. I was just so caught up in the moment.
And so, yeah.
But I'm like, well, what a bright idea. Tell the investigator you're the one who did it.
Tell the cop, the guy who can get you in trouble.
Yeah. Just give him your plan now so he doesn't even have to interview you. But it's wild, man. Yeah, I'll never forget that. What a crazy, crazy night.
Man.
See what I'm saying?
See, guys. See.
When we said earlier we should be arrested or hurt or something.
Or dead. Or
something. But I'm glad we're not. I'm glad you're not. Before I forget, so I was doing some research. I kind of want to get your take on this. So I was doing some research because I wanted to hear your new song and I wanted to see what other music you did.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you know this, but there's actually another Robbie out there.
Yeah.
Have you seen his stuff?
Yeah, it pissed me off.
So I wanted to play you a little bit. I don't know if you see this one.
Let me see. Hold on.
I'm going to play all of it, but I found this and I was like, I clicked on it and I'm not even going to give you my opinion. Let's just listen to a little bit of it. I'll stop it.
I have a bunch of people that are always like,
and I want the people to vote who the better Robbie is.
All right, let's see. Is that here in town?
No.
Okay.
I'll stop it after the hook.
All right. Okay, Danny boy.
Robbie, that's not you.
That boy is Benny Hanna.
Gotta get the dough. Soon as I hit the dough, I be like, what up, though? Watch your back cause they cutthroat. Gotta get the dough. Soon as I hit the dough, I'll be like,
if he rhymes money with funny, I'm changing it.
Watch your back cause they cutthroat.
That's literally where I turned it off the first time.
Dog.
I don't want to clown this guy too much, but gotta get the dough.
That's why I'm trying, honestly, bro, that's why I'm trying to get these damn check marks on social media. I have the check mark on Facebook, okay? I'm trying to get the other ones, all right?
Just so you know.
I have the check mark on Spotify too.
This guy, he's 2 months ago, and I think he's got a total of 13 subscribers. So.
Damn.
So he's killing it. He's on his way to you, man.
Man. Man.
I saw that and I was like, oh my, dude, there's nothing more than an artist, producer. I've done a bunch of stuff, but I'm a fan of music.
Yeah.
And as a fan of music, when there's one big pet peeve that I have is when they do that, they repeat the word over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Kendrick or a guy like that can kind of make it like do it like in a methodical, poetic way. What are you doing? Gotta get the dough. It's the dough. When I get the dough, man, I got the dough. Like, it's just like, what are you talking about at this point? So when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, I turned it off quick.
Stop.
And I was like, I gotta show Robbie this guy.
Man, he has potential, man.
The other Robbie, man. The other Robbie. So if you ever fuck up a performance, like it was that
Robbie.
Guy.
That's
your new alter ego.
Dude,
you
exactly.
should have like Rob, what comes after E? A, B, C, D, E, F. Rob F.
Rob F.
Is it weird that I had to do that? A, B, C, D, E?
No, because I have to do it sometimes too.
You know how I figure out the months? I go 9/11 and then I count from there. I know 9 is September.
Yeah.
So I'm like, October, I'm like 9/11 plus 1. 10. It's 10. But I always start from 9.
I'm like, that's a lot of work, man.
You never do that?
No, I go January. I
start from 9 because I know 9 is September.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I go September, October, November. So I go 9, 10, 11. I
just know that New Year's is 1 and Christmas is 12. So somewhere between there is where we're at.
How stupid are we? People listen to like, dude, these guys are idiots, man. Oh man, that's funny. Do you? So when I first met you, we were doing fighting. How long did you keep doing that for? Did you do it for a while?
I did it for about 3 years, man.
Yeah. So I continued doing it after because we're at Martinez Inc.
Yeah.
I actually trained with his brother Marty, who did Bone Crushers for a while, and then I trained with some other guy that wasn't involved with the company. He just kind of trained on his own.
Yeah.
I did it for about 3 years too, man. I had a few more fights after that, and then it just kind of like they stopped paying us. Do you remember they used to pay us?
Yeah.
And they passed that law where you couldn't pay amateurs because these kids were just getting fucked up.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, bro. And do you know what, man? Like, honestly, like I'd being knocked out, bro. And it was entirely okay with people watching was probably one of the worst feelings I ever had, bro.
For you?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean? Like coming out of the knockout, you were like seeing that everyone saw it?
Yeah. I was just like, man, like I was like, I just got laid out, like, you know?
Yeah.
And I was ready to fight again. I was done. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's weird for anyone who hasn't been knocked out or tapped out or put to sleep, not tapped out. It's just like a movie film.
Yeah.
Like if you were to cut it and then 2 hours later put the film back.
Yeah.
That's literally how it feels. It feels like you're there and then all of a sudden you're there again, but something happened in between that you don't recall. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Exactly. So yes, we've been knocked out too. We don't just win fights. We've been knocked out too.
I've been knocked out and choked out. I'll never forget. Never in a fight, by the way. I ended up fighting my very next fight. after the first fight that we had at the Bucket of Blood tournament, was in Silver City. And the dude, that was my first win, and it was a DQ. The other guy got DQ'd.
Yeah.
He beat me up pretty bad. And I have no problem saying this. You know what I mean? I'm humble. I don't give a damn about pride. I'll admit where I got beat. I was young.
Yeah.
And I was just learning. So I got beat up in my second fight, and the guy dug his thumb in my belly button while he was mounted on top.
Yeah.
He was doing wrist control, and he kept doing the forearm to the face thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the ref, for whatever reason, was watching this hand up here. And with his right hand, he dug his thumb in my belly button and just started like digging it in there. And the ref wouldn't see it. And you know what I mean? I had my mouthpiece on. I couldn't quite get it to him. And I dropped my hands because it hurt.
Yeah.
And the dude, and just knocked me out. And so, and it wasn't a complete knockout. I didn't go completely out.
Yeah.
But I kind of got up a little bit, and I was bleeding. From my belly button. And the ref saw that, and they ended up DQing the guy. And so I got the win, baby.
Why? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. He literally got his thumb and dug it in my belly button.
See, bro, I just don't like people. I don't like people touching my belly, bro. You know what I mean?
That is so painful. It's not like you have no muscles in there, bro.
It's like, bro, like I don't like people touching my belly. I can't imagine somebody.
Oh, it hurt, dude. And I didn't even like. It wasn't even like. I mean, I counted it as a win, but I was just like, I was mad that I got knocked out, and it wasn't like I was doing well and that happened. He was for sure winning, which I don't know why he did it. Maybe he was getting frustrated because he couldn't quite get the shots he wanted. Yeah, and so he's like, dude, I don't have time for this. But yeah, for whatever reason, I'm like. And I remember going, thank God, and going back with my coaches after that fight. I was like, all right, I got to work on some stuff. You know what I mean? Because I was getting beat up before that even happened.
All right, I got to work on everything.
Got to strengthen my belly button.
That's fucked
Every
up,
day
dude.
I'm going to put lint in there and just work it out slowly until it gets nice and buff. Yeah, there's no way for that. But you would think that you would see something. But he was belly to belly with me, and he was just up here. And I mean, granted, I wonder if that would happen in like a high level fight. No, because it would have happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should respect your opponent. You should be doing stuff like that. That guy was just again, stupid kid that probably wanted to get some money.
Yeah.
And then, I remember them not paying anymore. And then I was just like, this isn't that much fun. And so I stopped doing it after I trained for a while without fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Even after that, I just kept training. It was a good way to stay in shape. When out of high school, no more basketball. I was gaining some weight. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go hit the gym. And then when Lloyd was in town, going to trade with those guys train hard, man.
Yeah.
And so Billy Colon, I trained with that guy. We trained with him at Martinez for a while. That guy was a good teacher, man. But I never loved it. You know what I mean? And so, how do you look? How many more times did you fight after that?
After I got knocked out, I never did.
No.
Yeah.
Did you train for a little?
Yeah, I trained. I trained. Like even I've trained up as like recently as like to like right before the pandemic hit. You know what I mean?
So you like training? You're just not.
Yeah.
What do you get out of it since you're not training for a fight? Like what does it help you with?
I mean, it just honestly like you stay in shape. You know what I mean? And you know, like you learn how to defend yourself. You know what I mean? You learn how to defend yourself in a situation where you have to defend yourself. You know, You're not just going out trying to pick fights. And plus, dude, it's cool like learning from people who are like really fucking good. You know what I mean? Like it's cool like learning new combos. It's cool like just learning like things that you didn't know. You know, like stances and like and how to throw certain kicks after like like just implementing so many different obstacles that I wouldn't normally do like 10 years ago.
It goes back to what you were saying earlier about challenging yourself.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like whether it's at jobs or whatever, you just can't stay stagnant, right? You could tell you have that in you. We're like, all right, how else could I do this? And so like learning a new move or like getting a new belt or whatever it is, like some sort of progression towards something. It sounds like those are the kinds of things that you thrive in.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Do you remember what you wanted to be when you were young? Like, did you have any clue that you'd be doing music?
No, when I was younger, man, I wanted to be a couple things. I wanted to be a firefighter, a lawyer, and then a doctor. But the doctor kind of went out of the way because I was like, yo, like that's too much.
Depends what kind of doctor, though. But
I just always assumed all doctors were the same
when you're young,
up until I stopped wanting to be a doctor.
What? You're actually like, walking on like Grey's Anatomy. Like,
there's an
explosion in there. I'm out, Mom.
There's a doctor that does this. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, I don't want to do that.
Why is that doctor doing oxys, Mom?
Yeah,
doesn't seem very productive.
But then a lawyer, because like I mean lawyers, like I look at lawyers, I'm just like, dang, like their job is to like basically convince people of shit. You know what I mean?
You're a salesman.
Yeah, you're like you're a salesman of somebody's life, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
selling someone's freedom.
Yeah, and then a firefighter just because like shit's so challenging.
Mhm.
Like, it's so cool. Like, I mean, it's cool, but it's like dangerous, but it's like, it's just a unique profession, bro. Like, your job is basically only to save people and to protect people's
Mhm.
well-beings and their livelihoods, and basically to help. That's like your entire job, is to help.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, there's other things that you have to do, but helping people is like the biggest part of being a firefighter. Like, in every aspect, like, you're helping people on the scene when they're injured, or you're helping people in a fire, or you're helping people like in the community, like, like
Yeah.
general in community, like community service type things. You know what I mean? Like, just everything is all about helping people. Like, you can't hate a firefighter, bro. Like, why would you hate a firefighter? Like,
I mean, you could if you're the husband of the wife who has that fucking calendar with all the dudes
Oh,
in
yeah.
their overalls.
yeah,
Yeah. That'd
Yeah,
be
it
the
was-
one way. If my fiance had like a calendar,
See.
she was always just like, God, put my fires out.
see, I would never be
Come
on
on,
those calendars.
September.
That would never be my goal. I would never want to be September.
Do you think
bro.
they still do calendar?
I don't know,
shoots? That was
probably.
like the thing, right?
Yeah,
the
that was the thing.
firefighter calendar was
Yeah.
like a big thing.
Yeah, they get the firefighters and put them in the, in the.
I don't even remember the last
overalls
time I
and-
saw a calendar that wasn't digital.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this, like, when I worked a desk job, I had that big calendar
It's a
in
good
front
point.
of me.
That
like
comes
the
in
big
handy.
white one.
I had one for a while when I started the podcast, but it's too. I got that. Did it send you a reminder for the podcast?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was dope.
Yeah, I was like, I barely set that up. I'm like, this is so much easier because I would forget, and then I would call people like, "Hey, are you almost here?"
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
oh, I
Like,
forgot.
this thing, like, literally was like, oh shit. This thing was literally like, let's see here.
Let's see what the text said. So while he's pulling up, it's a program where I kind of put him in, and I don't have to remind him or give him any info.
It says,
just sends to him.
says, hi, your appointment with Talk It Up podcast on 4/15 at 6:30 p.m. has been accepted. Hi, please confirm your appointment with Talk It Up podcast on 4/15 at 6:30. This is Tuesday. Then today it's like, hi, Robbie, your appointment with Talk It Up podcast is coming up. Make changes.
That's pretty. I didn't know. I knew the reminder and I knew the beginning one. I didn't know it would have you confirm. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah,
and
dude.
that happened on Tuesday.
Yeah, it actually
Tuesday.
happened on Tuesday, and it happened today too.
Oh, cool. Nice. See, that works out because I don't want to have to track people down and like do all that stuff. And I want at least some heads up if someone can't come, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know where this stuff will take me, man. I have a blast. I could care less like where it goes. Dude, this is fun, man. It's a good, easy way to catch up with people. It's a good one-on-one conversations are way easier than when you're in a crowd. You can't, like, we would never be able to talk like this
not at all.
at a Broken Spoke or a place like that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
and I mean, we had a little conversation last time that I saw you broken spoke, but it was
Yeah.
so loud.
It was. We still talked for a long time,
Yeah.
though. But we've known each other for long enough that you kind of can make the effort. But had you just been some person, maybe I do want to talk to you. But in a place like that, it's not the right. I'm like, all right, take care, man. Like, you can't really like have a sit down like that.
Yeah.
But no, we did talk for a while, and that was kind of cool. And I'm glad that you decided to come on, man. And no, I'm glad that you're here, man. Like I said, I don't know what will happen with all this stuff, but I thoroughly enjoy it, man. I have enough on my plate. I go to school, I work, I try to work out. I'm doing tons of other stuff, man. I have a life, and I don't have any kids yet, but that's going to come soon.
Yeah.
So if I can always have this be like my thing that I'm doing, mixed in with music every now and then, man, I can live with that, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, dude, congratulations on everything.
Yeah, thanks.
Especially like your new house, this honestly, bro, I'm actually very impressed with all this.
Thanks, man.
Like, it's like not very many people have like a space where they can do stuff like this, you
I
know?
mean, for sure I had a space. I bought the equipment over time. This is all like top-notch stuff. And I didn't pay for any of it brand new. I got it all like from secondhand sellers.
Yeah.
And I didn't like I was patient. I just collected this stuff over the pandemic
Yeah.
because I knew I would do it again, and I wanted to have like the 4K camera, the better quality mics and stuff.
Oh yeah. And this microphone's amazing, to be honest.
And to get two of them, man. These are I think like $400 or $500 microphones.
Yeah.
You can pay like $200 for each of them.
That's
Or
dope.
around there. Offer up, use it, and they'll ship too. So one of them came from like South Carolina, and one of them came from Texas somewhere. The people were super cool. Told them what I was going to use it for, and asked them for a discount. It worked out good. Before we finish, we should wrap this up because we did. I could talk to you for like 4 hours. We really could. Where can someone find your music? I'll link some of the stuff in the description. So if you send me links, it'll be in the description for you guys. Are there still tickets for this event on May?
Yes. There's a few tables left. We're selling everything by the table.
April 7th, right?
Yeah, May 7th.
May 7th. Jesus,
7th,
what's
yeah.
wrong with me? I knew May 7th, but I said April. I don't know why.
No, it's all good. Okay, so May 7th, we are bringing Baby Bash. I'll be performing as well as Brown Boy, then DJ Sauna, Philip Israel. There are a few tables left. I just actually went and checked on them earlier today. Tables are being sold, groups of 4, starting at $300. And it does include your dinner too. It just doesn't include alcoholic drinks. So it includes your seat and then dinner. And and the cool thing about it, the way that we have it set up is everybody's going to have a good view. It's going to be a top-notch production. The production company that we're bringing in, they're bringing in about $400,000 worth of equipment. Nice. So it's going to be like a nice setup. It's not going to be like just like your average everyday show where it's just a couple lights, a couple speakers. Like this is really like a premium concert setup that we're doing. Like I said, tickets for groups of 4 start up at $300. For groups of 6, anywhere from $350 to $450. All the front row tickets are sold out. The Broken Spoke patio is sold out. We also have spots for sponsors as well. We have a big sponsor already taken up, but there are table sponsors as well, which include a banner and whatnot. But yeah, dude, I'm actually really excited about this.
Where can people go to get tickets?
It would be at the Amador Live. Amador Live, it's at 302 South Main. They're in control of everything right now.
Do they have to go to the store to get them?
They can call
the restaurant.
They can call. It's 575-541-7417. Call that number. Audrey will take care of you. And if she did not answer, just leave a message for her and she'll get back to you guys. It's going to be fun, man. I'm actually really excited.
Hell yeah, I'm excited for you, man. It's always cool to see someone local doing some great things and progressing, and your hard work pays off, man. And then hearing what you said earlier about not being able to perform for a while, not only should this be a good show, it should be fun for you because you're just jumping right back into something that you haven't got to do in a while.
Yeah, and then I'm doing a lot, like I said, I'm doing a lot of new music. There's a lot of new songs that I have.
Are you going to perform new songs?
Yeah, I'm going to be performing new songs and then old songs. And I try and make my performances fun, so I'm getting like all the lighting package and stuff like that, so I can do custom light shows and everything for all my songs.
And if someone wants to do hire you as a DJ for an event or something like that, how do they reach out to you?
They could contact me at alteregoentertainmentnm@gmail.com, or you guys can find me on social media. All of my social media handles are the same. You look me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
And I'll link them all in the description. So go down in the description down below. By the time this comes out, they'll be in the description. Yeah. You can link up there. So they could just message you on social media.
On any social media.
I have this event. What can you do for me kind of thing?
Yeah.
Cool. Hit them up. You did my 30th birthday party.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man. We had such a good blast. We had such a blast, man, a good time. And it was amazing. So, God, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm excited to have you again. Let's have you on again soon. Does that sound good?
Yeah, we're good, man.
All right, my brother.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Thank you. That was dope, bro.